And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank y'all for joining me tonight. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live on the show, and I appreciate y'all for that. We got a whole lot going on all over the internet, all over mainstream media, social media, everywhere, and I don't know where to start. First of all, activist judges are getting arrested, and they're mad. Oh, how dare you arrest a judge that helped an illegal alien, murderer, gang member avoid prosecution, avoid deportation? How dare you arrest them for stopping that? We'll talk about that a little bit later. Also, Candace Owens has a disagreement, a bone to pick, a little bit of a tit for tat with President Trump. Well, not tit for tat. He's not going back and forth. It's just a matter of disagreement. Hey, I don't like what you're doing with the college campuses. I think you're suppressing free speech. I think that he's just trying to promote peace, because free speech is one thing, but then when you get into violence, riots, chaos, the same way it was in 2015 with Black Lives Matter, once you get into that, now we got a problem. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Also, student loans, speaking about education, student loans are due yet again. Coming up, I think on May 7th, it's going to start. If you're not paying your loans, you can be put into collection. And if you put into collection, they can garnish your wages. That's not anything new. They were doing that before 2020 when the pause started. But if you're a young person, you probably didn't know that. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Also, RIP to the Pope. The funeral was interesting. And guess who still couldn't wear a suit? We'll talk about all those things and more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And thank y'all again. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. If you enjoy the content in general, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. We got a whole lot going on. Oh, there's a lot happening. There is a lot happening. Shout out to you guys. I just want to say about Candace, hey, I'm still a big Candace fan. I don't agree with everything she says, but I think that we should be able to watch somebody and take what we want, take what we agree with, and don't take what we don't want and what we disagree with. Okay, yeah, I saw 10,000 of her videos. I liked everything that I saw. But this little kick she's on lately, man, I don't know. I think I might just go ahead and just throw her away. I don't really believe in that. If they've been so good over so many years. I think they've earned a certain level of grace, in my humble opinion. But I'm going to call somebody out. I don't care. Like, whether I agree with you most of the time or not, if I see something I don't like, I'm going to say something, and that's fine. That doesn't mean that I hate the person or I dislike the person. Now, if it becomes a pattern over years, now it's like, okay, you just become something different, and that's not really my cup of tea. But I think the whole thing with the Jews and stuff like this is always a thing that gets brought up when anybody else to blame. Normally, the white man get to blame for everything that goes on in society that's not right. Okay, yeah, my car won't start, blame the white man. I couldn't get a job. I don't know how to read. I can't count to 5. My grandbaby, his feet too big. I got to keep buying shoes, blame the white man. White man. But then when you want to get a little bit more specific, when you want to get, or if you're a white person and you want to do it, now let's blame the Jews. They control the money. They control certain things that I want to be part of. And I'm going to just blame them when things go wrong. USS Liberty, ABL, all kind of stuff like that. And then the question I always ask, because this is an old conversation. I've been having this way before the internet was even really a thought. I'm talking about when I was in high school, I was having this conversation with certain people. I'm asking people, okay, so now what do? You pointed out this Jewish person does that and they do that. Now what? What are you going to do? I think every race of people has their position in society. Or I don't want to say that, because that'd be too much like you have no choice. I'm talking about things that you do well over others. I think every race, every group has things they do better than others. That don't mean you're going to be pigeonholed into that, but you do it better than others. Okay, y'all know who the church secretary is. Y'all know people that really are in the, when you get down to the real money, that they're going to be the ones that do it, because from birth, they're groomed like that. They're reading books, they're studying, like this a whole different thing that they got going on. Okay, it's a whole different thing they got going on. Even people like Drake, who was also a Jew. Yes, he is. His mom is Jewish. People like that. You wonder why they're so good. It's because from a young age, you've been bred to be this way. Is it about race or is it about culture? I think maybe it might be a combination of both. You have natural talents that is bred by your culture. If you have natural talents and they're not bred by your culture, then you're going to be doomed as a people, black people. Now, I don't want to get too deep because this is a really deep topic. I can go real deep. I done read books on it. This is so old to me. Personally, to me, it's like a really old topic. But 1970s, blaxploitation, that saved the whole Hollywood industry. Who was behind that? Anybody want to guess? Anybody want to guess the two races that were behind that? Anybody want to take a wild guess? Who were the producers of these movies? And who was the stars? Who was the stars? I don't know, man. Like, I could go deep like that, but at the end of the day, I think that when people have nobody else to blame, you just blame them, and it's easy to blame them. And what happens is young people start to attack them. That's why they're getting attacked on the campuses, and that's why they're trying to crack down on it. It reminds me of the whole thing with crack. People got mad at crack and the laws behind crack in the late 90s, especially because they say, oh, you're giving these black men 1,000 years for a little bit of crack. But what you don't understand was the level of violence that we were dealing with in the black community because of those guys. You don't understand the level of violence. I'm talking about extreme violence. Things that's going on right now with the migrants is nothing compared to what the community was going through in the late 80s and the early 90s from crack. Oh my God, it was terrible. It was so bad, like real bad. Like the things that's going on right now with the fentanyl is kind of reminds me of the crack era. I was young, but I never forget it. You can't forget it. But it's reminding me of that. But the violence ain't so much because the fentanyl, what's happening with the fentanyl, that people are just destroying themselves because of the cheap fentanyl coming across. But the fentanyl is not necessarily driving the same level of gang violence as it did during crack. At least not in America. The gang violence from the drugs that are sold here is fought in Mexico. But a lot of that Mexico type stuff was happening in the black community. And Mexico is very violent, very, very violent. Like it's no game. Okay, you want to go to Mexico, take a wrong turn, man. You better, hey man, you better pray to God that they don't kill you. You better pray to have mercy. Think you a gringo or something like this, and just let you be. Okay, you're the wrong place, my friend. Go back, Cancun. You go too far up into the Yucatan Peninsula. Man, they won't see you no more. We saw what happened to them people that came from Texas. They probably had drugs. But look, you coming into the wrong place, okay, boom. We're going to go ahead and delete you. This is why I'm talking about the migrants. I'm like, y'all don't get it. Go to some other country illegally, or you doing something wrong. You want to be a rabble rouser. You want to spark civil unrest in their country. It's nothing for them to go ahead and just disappear you, delete you, or whatever in their country. We're compassionate. We're the civilized people. We'll just deport you. We'll give you a free plane ride back to your country of origin. Hey, you want to get on Delta, first class, back to wherever you came from? Sure, no problem. Put you on the plane, send you about your business. Now, other countries, hey man, you about to go in this prison right here and make tires, or you can be working in these fields, picking fruits. You're going to be right back on the slave plantation, or we might just go ahead and delete you. I told y'all, Autumn Warmbier got the TV turned off over a propaganda poster. It's real. So I think that America, I think we're good over here. I think we are really compassionate people. So much so that the judges want to go above and beyond and look out for the illegal aliens. I think we are a little bit too nice over here. Just a teeny bit too. We can be nice, but we're a teeny bit too nice. When you got judges that's doing stuff like that, I think that ain't really the way you want to go. And sometimes you could be so nice, you cross the line into being kind of sinister. You got the governor of New Jersey from Murphy talking about, well, I might have a migrant in my home. Okay, and if the migrant's in your home, that's illegal. That's called harboring the fugitive. If I do that, I'm going to get sent straight to the penitentiary. But if you do it, it's fine. And then what will the fugitive be doing in your home? Just hanging out, chilling, or are we starting to make beds? Are we starting to cook food? Are we starting to babysit for free? The lady over in UK got prosecuted for that. The Ugandan judge from the UN got prosecuted for that. That's called slavery. You can't do that in 2025. But hey, I guess it's all right if you're a Democrat, the same old party. So when they say, you know what, ABL, the party switch, I can't tell. When did they switch? Did the party switch when? I see the same old thing they've been doing since the beginning. The first Republican president was Abraham Lincoln, and a Democrat deleted him for freeing the slaves. It's the same people doing the same thing. But you know what? Part of it, I think that the United States has not prepared their citizenry for a truly competitive job market. They've coddled us. They've not given us the proper tools we need. And I've been saying it for years. Like K through 12 is kind of a waste of time to a certain extent. Like really, I felt like past 10th grade, I was pretty much done. 11th grade, I was like, okay, let's get to the money. What are we doing? We need more skilled trades. These kids out here nowadays, and you're gonna see some kids that have been responding to the whole student loan thing. A lot of these young people, not all, but a lot of them feel a sense of entitlement, feel like they got to be given things. They feel like they don't have to work hard for anything. They just want things to manifest to them. They don't want to go out there and get it. Now, there's other kids, however, there's other young folks that are grinding, going hard, and getting it. You're seeing everything go up. The price of homes going up, the price of cars going up, but yet I'm still seeing 30-day tags all the time. I'm still seeing new developments. I'm still seeing things get purchased. The question is, who's purchasing it? How are they purchasing it? What are they doing? I think the government did not prepare a lot of their citizens to be competitive in the workforce. And if you have good parents, that's probably what will get you over the edge. So that needs to be the focus, is having good parents, because the government cannot help you, obviously. They don't do anything well, which is part of the reason why I'm in favor of Doge coming in to reduce the size of the government. We know that they don't do well, so let's reduce the size of the government and put more of the job on us as citizens, as parents, as brothers, as sisters, as friends. Put it on us, the people in our individual states, rather than the federales, because clearly they're not doing a good job. Obviously, they're not doing a good job. Okay? It's simple as that. Especially not under Biden. Look, you had one job, really one main thing you should have done, which was protect the border, and you couldn't do that. So yeah, hold on. Golf and Gun says public school is a nightclub. Pretty much. I mean, it's like a waste of time. I would want more programs available like what they did in Alabama during George Wallace. Yes, I said George Wallace. What they did under him, more trade schools, more places where you can learn life skills that you can use, so you don't have to rely upon others to do certain things for you, and you could go out here and get employment, and you have a sense of work ethic. You got to go into the world like that. Now, there's a lot I want to say, but we got to talk about Shadur Sanders, the quarterback. We got to talk about the judges being arrested. There's a whole lot of things going on, but first things first, shout out to the sponsors, of course, as always. Shout out to patriotpost.us, your best source of news and information anywhere on these interwebs. Their link will always be in the box, or just visit patriotpost.us. Tell them that ABL sent you. Go to my merch website, ablmerch.com. That is ablmerch.com. We got the hats, the t-shirts, the stickers, the hoodies, the mugs, and more right there on the website, ablmerch.com. Also, please go to my regular website, anthonyblogan.com. That is ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. Go to the front page of the website. I have articles for each video that I produce. And in each article, I sources from the left, from the right, from the center, from the Democratic, Republican, politically agnostic, local, national, whatever you want. I got it right there on the front page of the website, anthonyblogan.com. Also, go to the contact page of the website, anthonyblogan.com/contact-us. There you'll be able to find my email address, my snail address, my UPS box, of course, my social media accounts, my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, never going to call it X, TikTok. Yes, I am on TikTok. I'm 1,000,000 years old on TikTok, but it's fine. I'm over there. Find all my links on the website. And as I always say, if anyone is ever talking at you in the comment section with my picture, with my name, it's probably not me, especially if they're talking about some, oh, well, I got some magic gift cards, all this, that, and the third. Please don't get scammed 2025. Nobody has time for that, all right? Nobody has time to get scammed, so please don't get scammed. If you want to support the channel, there's links on the website, and there's links right underneath the actual video here. And, of course, this is going to be available on your favorite audio streaming platform as audio only, whether that be Google Play, Spotify, Apple, iTunes, etc. Links for them will be in the description, or just go to your favorite audio streaming platform and search ABL Live. I should pop right on up. Alrighty, so we got a whole lot going on here. I want to talk to Shadur Sanders. So talk about him. Sharon says, your channel hasn't shown up for me for a while. Well, hopefully we're getting a lot more of the people who have been subscribed for a while. Hopefully we're getting more of their attention. YouTube is an interesting place. It's very interesting, but hopefully we're getting everybody that wants to watch. But check it out. People are saying that it's racist that the young man right here, the quarterback from Colorado, Shadur Sanders, did not get drafted. I have Jamal Bowman saying that. Remember Jamal Bowman, the fire alarm puller? He said something about it. Now, the thing about Shadur is that he is Deion Sanders' son. Y'all know Deion. Played in the NFL for a long time. One of the best to ever do it. He also, Deion was so good. He played in the NFL and the MLB. What's it like? He played for the Braves and the Falcons at the same time. Like he played a football game and helicopter over to Brave Stadium and play in a Braves game. Like Deion was crazy. This is his son. Now, Deion has been coaching this boy since he's been young. He's really been grooming him to be right here today. People thought that he might go like first overall or second overall in the draft, but he did not get picked until I think 144th pick in the 5th round. People said that it's racism. I don't think it's racism. What I think it is they don't want Deion to have so much control over the NFL. And Shadur is a good player, but he's kind of a middling talent. Maybe like a Cordell Stewart type. Good, but not that good to the point where it can overshadow being Deion Sanders' son and what's going to come with it. Because if he's not given certain opportunities, if his career's not going the way it should go, there could be pressure from Deion and the general public to do certain things that the team doesn't want to do. But the main thing is they don't want to give Deion that much power because they feel like he's not going to handle it appropriately. In the NFL, let me tell you something about the NFL. The NFL has probably got to be America's most prized possession. I mean, beyond Apple, Google, the NFL. It's that serious. You're talking about cultural, you're talking about economical, and even beyond that, college football. A lot of these little towns all over the nation would not be here if not for college football. But let me just play some of Shadur, and then we're going to get into the whole thing about racism from Jamal Bowman. All right, sound might help. Let's do that. Let's start from the top.
If you ain't trying to change the franchise or the culture, don't give me. So you should know history repeats itself over and over and over, and I've done it over and over and over, so it should be no question why an NFL franchise should pick me. You think I'm worried about what critics say or what people got to say? You know who my dad is? They hated on him too. So it's like it's almost normal. Without people hating, it's not normal for us. So we like diversity. We like everything that comes with the name. That's why we are who we are.
Now, Deion did get hated on. It was similar. When Deion got drafted, it was some of this going on too. But the thing about Deion is that he was so good that his talent overshadowed anything else. Any kind of distraction, any kind of weird thing. And I'm not saying Shadur is a bad kid. He's not. He's like the model kid, the model young man. But the problem is Deion and the power play here. And if there's anything that happens negative to Shadur, then it's going to be a whole big story, and then that becomes locker room distraction. If he's good enough, it doesn't even matter. It don't matter because you're so good, your talent will overshadow anything. Michael Vick went to the penitentiary for dogfighting, but since he was so good, he came back to the league and played for many more years, like 7, 8, 9 more years. People hated Vick for that, hated him. Were protesting football games with signs. Like how you got people that's protesting Israel, Palestine. They were protesting with signs, but he still played. Why? Because he was too good. They couldn't do nothing with him. But Shadur is not quite there. Deion was great. Somebody said, get her done. Deion was great. Michael Vick was great. Shadur, Cordell Stewart, Michael Vick. Who's better? Cordell Stewart, Deion Sanders, who's better? It's simple. So, and personality, coming off kind of spoiled, you might not be able to coach him because his dad was his coach his whole life from when he was small up until college at Jackson State and then at Colorado. So what happens when you get a John Gruden all in his face, crazy faces, Chucky faces? What's going to be Shadur's reaction to a John Gruden, one of these guys? How is he really going to just buy into what the coach is saying? I don't know. Yeah, it's drama. It's drama. And like I say, he's a good kid, no off the field criminal stuff or nothing like that. Goes to class, gets good grades, but it's other stuff. Now, here is Jamal Bowman. All right. Remember Jamal Bowman? He was a house rep for a while. They gave him like a little brief term with the squad, a little 2-year term with the squad. And he pulled the fire alarm at the Capitol and then said, I didn't do it. Anyway, this is his take on the whole situation.
Someone like Shadur Sanders, because he talk a certain way and because he wears gold chains and his pops is Dion and he don't want to submit to y'all white shit, he's gonna slip in the draft. And you're telling me it's based on the evaluation. Like, you didn't watch the games and watch him play and see him play. Like, someone like you.
All right, so there's Jamal Bowman talking about, look, the whole race thing, it's a little bit deeper than that. It's not even about skin color, because I think this same thing would happen if Shadur and Dion were both white or some other kind of race, because it's the same dynamic in play. It's the same dynamic at play. That's all. That's really what it boils down to. It's not about race. I think people can just look at a thing and say race, but it's not always that way. It's not always that way. Now, look, I'm going to show this right here. People are offended by this, okay? Let me see if I can show it this way. All right. So, look, this is just a random tweet from somebody. It says, trending, new Titans quarterback Cam Ward has gone viral for being the perfect type of person you want as a quarterback. Cam is not a diva, wears a regular plain suit, no flashy jewelry, and is representing his alma mater. Exactly what teams are looking for. So that's him right there. He went number 1 overall. So clearly he's black. It's not about race. A black quarterback at that. And for a while they said you couldn't be a black quarterback. You had to switch when you were young to wide receiver, cornerback, or something like this. Another athletic position that you could use your height, but you couldn't be a quarterback. But now the league is more welcoming to the black quarterbacks. Okay. And these guys are killing it. Your Lamar Jackson, your man from the Chiefs, Mahomes, my homeboy, they're doing good. And this guy will do good as well. But you got to be a certain kind of person. A Tom Brady was like Captain America and would dominate you on the football field. But Captain America, Peyton, Eli, Captain America, dominate you on the football field. Some of the other middling kind of quarterbacks didn't do well. If you want to be a white guy and drink and smoke and party, you're Johnny Manziel. And you're going to fizzle out. And they can see that in anybody, regardless of what their race is. So I say all that to say this. Everything's not always about race. Sometimes it's about what they can see in you. And they don't want your personality. They don't want your behavior. Even if it's not bad, like criminal, it can be distracting and it can affect the bottom line. That's all they really care about. That's all they care about. DCF Press says playing quarterback is a whole other level. Yes, it is. 100%. Okay, whole other level, and you're held to a very high standard. If they see any kind of cracks in your armor, it don't matter what color you are, they're not going to deal with you. If you're a solid guy, your head on straight, doing the right thing, black, white, whatever, they'll rock with you. Okay, simple as that. Simple as that. Now, we got some more protesters here, of course. One thing about DC, I want to say I could do protest videos every day because they always protest in D.C., and it's always been like that. I remember going to D.C. a lot as a kid, and my cousin took me to Capitol Hill and showed me all of this stuff. And my question, because even back then, at some point, some random time in the 90s, or whenever that was, they were out there picketing. And I will always see that whenever I would go to the Capitol Hill for a field trip, or we just happened to be going by there. I'm like, why do they always protest? He said, they're always out there every day. It's always something they protesting. Some of them are paid, but they always are out there protesting. We got some more right here. Okay, they're talking about resist. Trump and Musk don't care about you. And it's probably just these two people right here. It's probably just them two by themselves outside of the White House protesting.
So what scares you most about Trump and Elon Musk?
I think what scares me most about them is the mistrust that they want to place in us about the media and their narrative that the media is lying to us, because then we can't have like reliable source to get unbiased news from. So I think that just jeopardizes everything.
Well, you know what? Think about the media. We're trying to hold the media accountable. The media does lie to you. The media has a narrative to push, and you guys are clearly believing it. That's the problem. The media does not represent stories in an honest way, and it gives a false impression to not only the country, but the whole world. And it looks like it's just outwardly corrupt state media. We talk about Russian state media, RT. We talk about the Chinese Communist Party and their corrupt media, their censorship. But we do the same thing over here because our media is state sponsored and it's the permanent government. It's not really who you want to sponsor it.
What media do you think is not lying to us?
I mean, I think that like NPR is a good unbiased, since it's, publicly funded media source. So that would be one off the top of my head.
What other thing scares you about Trump and Musk?
I mean, one thing that we were just talking about is, for example, that American citizen that they have deported that they won't bring back. So,
See what I'm saying? But see, look, we all know that Kilmar Abrego Garcia is not an American citizen. And that's why I am so adamant about showing some of those videos where they try to hint toward it. Like, what's your man, Chris Van Hollen? He was on the Sunday show and almost said he's an American. Like, don't do that. Because somebody might hear that and not even hear him complete his sentence or correct himself. And they'll think he's an American just by that little piece that he said when he almost said it. Because in their mind, they think he's American. They hear him say that, it completes it in their mind. That's what they do. They play little mind games like that. But I'm here to just expose all that.
I mean, that just makes you wonder who that could happen to next or how many times that's going to happen.
Do you think it was kind of strange under the Biden-Harris administration that we were allowed to let people come in and nobody questioned that?
I wouldn't say that we were allowed to let people in and no one questioned it. We definitely still had Border Patrol and our laws and borders. Yes, more people came in, but I wouldn't say it was a free-for-all by any means. Of course, it was more, but...
Do you think the Border Patrol was actually allowed to work under the Biden-Harris administration?
Yes, I do.
Terrible. And you know what? They vote. Like, for real, they actually vote. They're in the workforce. They're your coworkers. They're your friends, your family. They vote for real. They have no idea what's going on. They think Kilmar Abrego, the MS-13 gang member from El Salvador, I think he's American, and he just got deported because he was peeking the panty. Like, no. This man has been on the list for a long time, for years now, 2019. Okay, getting arrested in the car with 8 other adults, and the car is owned by a human trafficker, and they're talking about we all live with him. For real, 8 adult men? All right, man, whatever. Look, in Virginia, I know back in the day, if you were to be a black male in a car with if it's 4 black males, 4 adult black males in a car, especially, here go the car right here. 4 adult black males in a 2-tone Lexus 300, you're going to the penitentiary immediately. They pulling you over. Woo, pull over. They pull you over. Oh, here go a gun. Oh, here goes some cocaine. Oh, here go X, Y, and Z. And don't let it have New York plates. Y'all going to jail. Y'all getting locked up. Because they already know what you're doing. They already see you. Why do you have 4 adult black males in a Lexus 300 with New York plates on it in Virginia? Be serious. Same thing with them. Okay. You got 8 adult Mexicans or whatever y'all are in the vehicle together, and y'all all live at the same place, and the car is owned by a human trafficker, and you have gang tattoos. You were arrested with not 1 but 2 other gang members. Come on, man. Like, why we got due process? My due process, man. Please stop. Like, you're really going to advocate to bring gang members back to the country, illegal gang members? Why? Anyway, I'm triggered already. Let's keep on rocking here. So this young lady says, only people with children should pay taxes for schools. All right, I'm gonna play some of this, and y'all let me know what you think about it.
Only the people who have children should have to pay taxes for public schools, because that literally is the only way that would make sense. For people who are child free like me, why do I need to pay taxes to a school system that I'm never going to use? my children are never going to be in because I'm never having children. So I feel like the only people who should be having to pay taxes for schools should be people who have children.
Okay, now I want to say this. I think some are going to say she has a point, but I think that we need to look at it a little bit deeper. Okay, I shouldn't have to pay for someone's federally funded student loans that they couldn't pay for. Okay, if you took out a loan, that's your responsibility to pay it back. But if we're going to have society, if we're going to have civilization, you have to contribute to things that are going to help you locally, or at least you should. And if you don't want to, then go somewhere else. Contribute to things that are going to help you locally, your education, your city resources. Okay, just for your area, for your local place, your state, your city, your county. Where you live is where your money should go, mostly. Some to the federales to do some basic things, or some things that you might not be able to do as a state. You might not be able to do national security, stuff like this. Okay, that's something else. But you're talking about education, like K through 12. You're talking about your roadways, stuff like this. That needs to be coming from the taxpayer. Now, here's the problem. Sometimes this taxpayer money gets misused. Sometimes you're getting taxed to death and you got potholes looking like sinkholes, potholes that have put a F-350 on the side of the road with a flat tire. Okay, your whole tire will come off in the pothole. It's like, all right, where is the hole go? Down to Narnia? What's going on? If you got that going on, now you got a problem with local government. And you should be able to redress them to fix that. But that should be where it is, you and local government. How y'all feel about that? Should it be a thing that you pay taxes for a school if you don't have children? Or should it be if you live in a place, you pay taxes for that place specifically? That should be where your money goes, and it should be used wisely. What do y'all think? Like artillery range on the roads? Exactly. Yeah, some of these roads, man, looking crazy. It's like, man, come on. Y'all take all this money in taxes. Like, what's really going on with the taxes? And hold on, speaking about taxes, I think I saw something. Yeah, I saw something that is pretty serious. Yeah, you guys in California, I don't know how you guys are able to survive. You guys' taxes is through the roof. How much y'all paying for gas where you live? Okay, hold on. How much is gas where you live? I'm gonna just play this right here. It's sound, but I don't need to play the sound. You can see these gas prices. Matter of fact, hold on. I will play the sound. Let's see what this person says.
Drill, baby, drill, huh? Whatever happened to lowering those gas prices, Donald? We need some answers out here in California. Sheesh.
Bro, you're paying $7.79 for regular in California. I would never. $7.79, bro. That's because you live in California, and California sucks. And I've been saying that for years now. California sucks. I pay like $2.50 for regular. $2.50. $2.50 for regular. And y'all gotta pay high state income tax. Listen, where I live, I'm paying $2.50 for regular and no state income tax. You got to pay state income tax in California, plus your gas is unaffordable. Your housing is unaffordable. You got drugs everywhere. California sucks. So you talking about Donald? Nah, you need to be talking to Gavin Newsom. Talk to him. That's your emperor, your God king. That's your man right there. Talk to him. Hey, Gavin, why do we get charged so much money for gasoline? What's really happening? Hold on, you guys, 253. J Worms, 329 in Phoenix. Toilet Book says it's $4.80 roughly in Southern California. $4.80. My. Donna S says $2.86 Eastern Virginia. Les $2.79. Bree K under $3. Yeah, I mean, James says $2.45 for regular and no state tax here in Texas. That's right. Shout out to Texas. Bob K $2.55 for premium. Les says Illinois, the most I've seen is $3.39. Look at these prices, man. I don't get it. California, if you're living in California, man, you you're a different kind of breed. I tell you what, to survive over there and have a good time in life, because how can you, I don't know, maybe the jobs pay more, but good grief. That's out of this world. And I feel like maybe those gas prices are to discourage you from driving because they want you to get on the train. Maybe that's what's going on. Okay, maybe that's what's happening. All right, but if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. All righty. Let's go right here. Okay, we have a protester. Let's see what this person says. I mean, look, I don't want to judge a book by its cover. I don't want to judge a book by its cover, but I'm saying, let's watch.
Don't let fascists it out. I'm gonna let it shine. Don't let fascists it out. I'm gonna let it shine. Don't let fascists it out. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine.
Look, man, y'all got to stop doing this, man. Y'all got to stop. Like, no, man. You messing up the song that I was singing in Vacation Bible School when I'm like 5, 6 years old. You messing that up, man. Like, that's a song that we learned. It was a thing. It was a happy thing. Now we got this individual. I don't know what the pronouns are. I don't know what's going on. It's a whole big mess, man. Sing something else. And look, if you're going to sing that song, at least sing it for real. Like, you know what I mean? Really get some vocal lessons, go to church a few years and practice your vocals, because that won't it, my man. Or I don't want to judge. I don't want to say the wrong thing. I'm not trying to get sued. I ain't trying to get locked up or nothing. Hey, man, if you vote Democrat, that's your people right there. That's your audience. All righty. Now, let's watch this individual right here, because some people are upset with the whole student loan thing. They don't like it. They don't like that they are now starting to actually collect on student loans. Well, check it out. I've been saying it since I've been in high school. It was a thing when I was in high school, like in the year 2000, 25 years ago. They were saying, hey, if you go to community college for 2 years, then go to your regular 4-year college, you're able to save on money and get your bachelor's degree. That's what a lot of us did. Some people went to out-of-state schools, paying a bunch of money in student loans, living on campus, racking up debt. I knew when I was like 15, 16 that I didn't want to do that. Like I told y'all, I was done after the 10th grade. After the 10th grade, I was pretty much finished. I already knew what I wanted to do. I already was driving. I had a car when I was 16. Like, I was already ready to go. I already knew what to do. I knew not to go get a bunch of student loan debt without having a direct way to pay it off. If you're going to be a doctor, if you're going to be a specialized skill at the end of it, okay, it makes sense. But if you just go and you have no true direction, no career path, you don't know what you want to do after, you're just kind of going for the experience to go hang out with your friends, you're doing the wrong thing. I knew that as a child. So why do kids nowadays who are graduating not know that? Is it not being told to them? Do they not have access to information to be able to research and understand that? I don't know. But this young guy right here is talking about the whole student loan payback situation, and he doesn't like it. All right. Now, hopefully it ain't too much cussing, but it might be a couple words here and there. So please pardon it.
So today Trump started talking about how he's going to force us to start paying back our student loans by garnishing our wages. I didn't borrow a goddamn dime. I was 17 years old. My mother forced me to take out that loan, and if I didn't, she was going to throw me out and make me homeless. The boomers should have their goddamn retirement accounts and Social Security checks garnished for forcing college onto us, forcing us to take unsustainable loans. It's just screwed up. So today,
that's your fault. You did that because she gave you the option. All right, check it out. Take a student loan out, or you're going to be out of the house. Okay, go outside, figure it out. Go outside, figure it out. I mean, that's your mom. That's what she did. What's that got to do with me, though? What's that got to do with me, though? Because at the end of the day, if the student loans are not paid back, guess who pays it? I got to pay it. I don't know you or your mama. I don't know neither one of y'all. So why I got to pay it? Why should any American pay for what they didn't do? You and your mom, hey, matter of fact, if you got an issue with your mama, take her to court. I wouldn't do that. Hey, bro, if you can hear the sound of my voice, your mama ain't no better. You gotta forgive your mama, man. You kind of mad at her. Don't. You gotta forgive her, bro, and just go out here and be an adult and make some of yourself. Okay, you gotta forgive her and forgive yourself because you could have just done something else, but you didn't. She could have, but she didn't. Forgive her and move on. A guy like you would take her to court and try to get your money back. You know, that's what you would do. But don't do that. And don't do it to me either. All right. Now we got somebody else who's talking about it, about the whole student loan thing. And again, wage garnishment, all that kind of stuff, that ain't nothing new. That's been going on. It's just now people are starting to realize that's a thing, because if it's been on pause for the past 5 years and people have graduated within the past 5 years, they probably had no idea that that was a thing. Their parents didn't tell them anything. Their school didn't tell them anything. This is why people go to YouTube and listen to influencers and people like me, because we tell them what society is not telling them. Things they're going to need, because if you listen to me, I'd have told you this from the beginning. I would have told you that you cannot escape student loan debt. It's the same thing as child support. That's why I said they're not going to cancel it. Why? Because it's government debts. They can extract that debt from you in a variety of creative ways. They can actually, they can go in your bank and take money out. They can they can answer your tax returns. They can garnish your wages. A private lender can't do that. I've been saying the same thing for years, and they're just not getting the message because their parents, their teachers are not telling them this. But let's watch.
They about to garnish our wages. They really know how to just ruin your day. The U.S. government hates everybody here. Y'all, as of May 5th, they're taking 15% of your wages.
Well, that's not true. As of May 5th, you're going to have to start paying again. And if you go into collections, then you can have your wages garnished.
Towards student loans. Y'all, I've been ignoring student loans since I've been in school. If y'all know how much I owe in student loan, y'all would think I went to school to be a lawyer. And it's a degree that wasn't even providing me a decent lifestyle. I was just living off vibes. So you mean to tell me I went to school and y'all lied to me? Y'all wanted me to go out there and do triple the work to get a degree. Y'all, I owe so much money. I'm in Texas, so we don't have state tax. 15%. Oh, you might as well go ahead and add 5 more. Add 10. Because that's the state tax. I cannot believe this. I just had to pull over, y'all. My head started throbbing. I'm about to get a headache. They're doing this in a couple of weeks, y'all. I got to go do deferment. I got to go do something. Y'all, we can't get away from this. People are even already saying that their credit score has dropped from a 700 something to a 500 something. Oh my gosh, my credit score. 15%, whether you have it or not, as of May 5th. So long as you have money in your bank account, they are taking it. Matter of fact, financial aid just called me the other day and I hung up on them. Not in the mood. Don't have it. I'm living off life. I'm vibing.
Okay, so look.
They about to go.
So you were living off vibes. You were living off vibes while you were in school. You were ignoring the student loans while you were in school, just racking up debt. You don't know how much it is. When I was in school, I kept a count of how much money I owed. I kept a count of that because I'm like, I got to pay this back after I'm done. So I'm not going to just rack up this big debt. Why would I do that to myself? It don't make no sense. I'm 17 years old thinking like this. So why weren't you thinking like that? I don't really understand. It was a thing that was told to us. Like, it was a conversation we were having as kids in school. Was that just me, or to everybody out there in the chat? It doesn't matter if you are much younger than me, much older than me. When you were in school, was there a talk about going to college, how much it's going to cost, what you're going to do, what you're going to finish with, how much you're going to make when you're done? That was a talk. That was a conversation. Okay, I'm going to go do X, Y, and Z, and I'm going to be X, Y, and Z. Okay, I'm going to go to the military. I'm going to go to the Air Force. I'm going to go to the Marines. I'm going to be in infantry. I'm going to go wild out. That was a talk. That was a conversation. But it feels like now some people are just doing whatever, just kind of floating out there. Okay. John says, yes, ABL. Sharon says, yes. New Girl says, yes. J Balu says, no. Wow. That's crazy. That's totally crazy. All right. JD says, yes, for real. Was it just me, E-Loves, for real? Nobody else talked about what they're going to do in the future? Nobody else had dreams? Nobody else said, hey, I want to be a doctor and I'm going to go to school for that? Nobody else said that in high school? All right, hold on. Audrey S says, yes, parents said, we poor. You2 sucks. YT sucks says, gets a $200,000 degree in underwater basket weaving to prepare for a job at McDonald's. Exactly. 100%. Because they don't understand. Like, they think that you could just, they watching TV, they think you could just be a barista at Starbucks and it's going to pay you enough to go to Italy every week. And it's like, no, that's not how that works. You have to actually do things in this society to have success for your life. You have to actually be somebody. You got to work hard. You got to go hard. You can't just be a bump on a log and have success that way. All right, so here go my man right here. I don't know if he's kind of trolling or what's going on, but he says that he's kind of sad that Biden's not here anymore. Let's watch.
Here lately, I've really been missing old Joe Biden. I wish he was back. Back when he was president, friends weren't getting deported. Hell, you didn't have to pay back your student loans. The economy was great. Life was just better with Joe.
All right, so there we go. So you know what? I'm willing to think a lot of people agree with him. People agree with that. They say, oh, things are better. The economy, the migrants and all kind of stuff. Well, look, at the end of the day, what's happening now is what needs to happen. We need to have more of a reliance upon Americans, American citizens. It can't just be we export. No, we ain't doing the exports. We doing some exports. We can't just import everything. We can't just allow China to control everything, because if a war happens, we're not going to be able to succeed, because China, all they got to do is just cut us off from materials and we're toast. We have to make things here, produce things here. We cannot just bring these criminal migrants in here, causing problems, wreaking havoc, neglecting Americans. We have to do what's best for the country. That's it. All this slave labor stuff has got to come to an end. So if you're not able to go to Starbucks and get your drink in the morning the way you want to because somebody got deported, then it is what it is. It is what it is. You got skills though, bro. You be all right. You a skilled tradesman. You be totally fine. Okay, you be totally fine. If your construction worker friend was here legally and didn't come through the cracks and it wasn't committing crime, then he might still be here. Your construction worker buddy might have been a criminal too. So, hey, you got to tell them when they over here, don't get in no drama. Don't get in no mess. All right. So now speaking about the migrants, you'd be surprised how many folks out there have this point of view saying, oh, no, the migrants, they're totally good people. They never commit any kind of crime. Oh, no. You'd be surprised how many of them have this point of view. That's a very interesting sweater right there. Shout out to Harvard, but let's watch.
I'm from Chicago. I mean, I want a safe country, but I don't see what they're talking about when they talk about, oh, all these women are being raped. I don't see that. Gather them up. I think they just look at skin color because they're so racist, and they just say, you know, he doesn't look like he works. He doesn't, you know, he's got tattoos. I mean, obviously they're evil.
What do you think about them deporting the man from Maryland?
I think it's a shame. And there's more than just him that was deported, you know, illegally. And I think they need to bring them all back and do due process. So well, they have to prove that they're gang members. Nobody wants, you know, vicious people here. Nobody wants that. But I think they should bring them all back and give them due process, which is what the Constitution calls for, and find out. And not just stick them in a prison that they'll never get out of. And so they need to bring them all back for due process. That's what they need to do.
Bring all these Venezuelan gang members back for due process that came into America.
Well, if they've proved they're gang members, then you don't need to bring them back, right?
Okay, so there we go. Oh, Bible. Shout out to the Michigan moms. Hold on. Before we continue, I got to do it. I'm sorry. I got to do it because every time I hear one of the Michigan moms, hey, that's probably one of my favorite accents is the Michigan mom accent.
Hey, I'll bet Bobby would enjoy going to the pool, don't you know?
That's her. That's the same lady right there. The same lady we just saw, that's her right there. That's basically the same lady. So yeah, shout out to Bobby's mom that gave her 2 cents on what's happening with the illegal alien crisis. But check it out. They don't even care that this guy's an MS-13. They couldn't care less. He has the tattoos. He got arrested in the vehicle with 8 adults. When he got arrested one time, he was with 2 other gang members. He has the tattoos on his fingers. They're saying that the Salvadorans are saying that he's a criminal. The president of El Salvador says he's a criminal, and the guy's Salvadoran. You think the president of El Salvador doesn't know his own people? I mean, what are we talking about exactly? What are we saying? You'd be surprised just how many Michigan school marms, just like this, with the Harvard sweater on, think like that. That's what they think. And it's like, what do you do? This is why we vote, though, because some people think that way. And look, everybody has their opinion. They're entitled to think the way they want to think. But we have the vote, so they cannot control us. They cannot be the ones running this country. Because that kind of thought process, man, we're going to be out here deleted. Everybody going to be deleted. It's going to be a mess if she is allowed to have a say-so over what happens to you. So, yeah, Kilmer Abrego. I mean, they could have found anybody else. They could have found, like, a person that's an American citizen that has paperwork. They could have found that person to be a champion. You're going to champion illegal aliens, gang members. Why? A guy beating his wife, really? A wife beating gang member here illegally? You want to put all your eggs in his basket? That's not very smart, Democratic Party. Now, we got some man on the street interviews, and this is a pretty interesting one, and it kind of goes back to what I was saying. A lot of us just don't have it upstairs.
Do you know what state?
Hold on, let's get a little bit of volume. And RIP in advance to the headphone users.
Do you know what state New York City is in?
Manhattan.
Yes, good. How many states are there total?
How many states in total? 25.
Yes, good. You're killing it. You're killing it.
Prophecy don't go to school, so.
Do you know who the current vice president is?
The current?
Yeah.
Like the.
Wait, hey, current, what that mean? Current? What does current mean?
The vice president before?
No, the one that's right now.
Ain't it Joe Biden? No.
Yes. What's the biggest state?
I want to say Idaho.
Yes.
Idaho, the biggest state. All righty, let's go with that. Not California, Texas, Alaska. Nah, Idaho. Let's go with that.
How many hours are in 3 days?
Hold on.
Around how many? Give me a number.
92.
Yes. How many months in 2 years?
And it's 12?
Do you know what the capital of the USA is?
Now look, some are going to say, hey, ABL, these are just cherry pick answers. People know more than that. But do you really think that people know a lot of these answers to these questions? Do y'all think that? Like normies, regular normies just out there walking and just, you know what I mean? Do you think they really know the answers to these questions? I don't know. I don't know. Some people are very smart out here in this world, but some aren't. Again, that's why we vote. You got millions of people that are intelligent, that understand things, that know the way the world works, and millions of others that just don't know. And I think part of what we got to do is get those other people on board, get them educated. That's the number one problem, in my humble opinion. No education, miseducation. They have no idea what's happening around them. They in school all day on their phone, browsing TikTok, playing games, and they're not paying any attention to the teacher. All right, let's watch here. So here go Chuck Norris. Shout out to Chuck Norris. Still looks good. I don't know if this is an old video or what, but let's watch.
Question for you, good sir. Why are you a conservative, sir?
Well, I used to be a Democrat, but unfortunately the Democrats went too far to the left, and the Republicans moved into their position that the Democrats were 40 years ago. See, and so what the Democrats believed 40 years ago, the Republicans believe today. And so I realized that I had to go to a Republican because the Democrats just got too far off off the trail. They just got completely off the trail and lost all reality of what America stood for. And so I realized that Republicans at this point in time are more focused on what is best for America than what the Democrats are.
Right on. So again, shout out to Chuck Norris. Right on. And what he said about the Republicans becoming what the Democrats were many years ago, that's right on point, because I've shown many videos of your Chuck Schumer, your Nancy Pelosi, all these people, Barack Obama, saying the exact same thing that Trump is saying right now back in the 90s. Okay. They were saying the exact same thing that Republicans are saying right now. But Democrats have gone so far to the left, so far out here, and just crazy transhuman type of just extra weird stuff. They done so much of that Republicans are now seen as normal. Overton window most certainly shifted, 100%. So yeah, shout out to Chuck Norris. Yeah, he looks great. He looks great. Shout out to everybody that's aging gracefully. I love to see it. That's why I always tell y'all, we don't want to be big backs. We don't want to be eating the wrong thing. We want to take care of ourselves. Okay, I ain't trying to see y'all at 40 years old hunched over. I ain't trying to see nobody hunched over, man. I want to see y'all doing very well. And obviously, he's still doing very well. And again, I don't know how old that video is, but it's probably kind of recent. Is he 85 years old? Wow. Hold on. Let me just fact check that. I know y'all ain't gonna lie to me. Yep, 85. He turned 85 March 10th. He was born March 10th, 1940. 85 years old. Let me see if I can find a recent picture of him so we could just, because that video was probably kind of old. All right, so here he is. This is a picture from January 1st on his Instagram. Let me put it up for you right quick. And boom, there he is. So, yeah, he still looks great. Great shape. 85 years old. That is goals right there to be 85 years old. If I can look like that at 85 years old, then I've accomplished whatever I tried to do in my life. So yeah, shout out to him. To make it to be 85 years old is a blessing. And to look that way, fantastic. So yeah, shout out to Chuck Norris, the OG, the triple OG. But let's keep rocking and rolling. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. All right. This guy right here has a good take on Donald Trump. Shout out to the Hispanic homies, the Central American homies. Let's watch.
¿Qué piensas sobre Donald Trump? Tu opinión.
Pues Donald Trump está poniendo orden, respeto en su casa.
Sí.
Sí, porque también hay personas también que van a hacer daño también. Tiene que él poner orden en su casa, pues, él.
All right, so he said a little bit of Spanglish, but mostly Spanish. But basically, he's saying he respects him because he's putting order back in the house. Respectfully, he's putting order back in the house. And that's what has to happen because there's been so much ridiculousness, so much chaos, so much graft, so much theft. Doge is a big example of what's going on. They got to go in there and take out all this stuff. It's like, why are we spending $1 billion on transgender operas in Kalamazoo? Like, what are we doing? We're doing the stupidest things that we could ever think of. And you got to get Trump or a guy like him to come in there and get things back on the right track. So, yeah, shout out to the Mexican homie or the Hispanic homie. I don't know where he's from, probably Mexico. But shout out to him for being right on point. Right on point. Everybody can see it. The whole world can see it. All right. The whole world can see it. Now, I'm going to go back to the same girl. I normally don't show people twice in the stream. But I wanted to set this up for another video. So this is the same young lady from earlier talking about, I don't know, she wanted something for free. I think it might have been the whole student loan thing. I don't even remember at this point already. But she's saying, why don't we all have free housing? Why isn't housing free for all of us? Let's watch this.
Everyone should have free housing. Like, why shouldn't everyone get free housing? I don't understand why we can't do that. Everybody deserves to be housed, and I feel like you shouldn't have to use your whole check for your rent. That's absolutely crazy. It makes no sense. And rent is what's keeping me broke. Rent is what's keeping me broke. I would be good if it wasn't for rent. Like, this is crazy to have to keep on scraping by because of rent. Like, this is absolutely insane. We should be given free rent. All of us. Everyone.
Okay, now check it out. Here's something that you're not really factoring in. And this is what I see a lot from a lot of young people. People in general, they don't really understand how they're living compared to other Americans. You can have free rent or almost cheap rent. That's available to you in this country. But guess what? Guess what, though? How about this? You're going to be in the trenches. You're going to be in the hood. You're going to be fighting for your life every day. Oh, my God. You're going to be living in the Bay Area. So if you want to live in the projects, I'm sure there's some available for you. Yeah. You want to go live in Queensbridge where the migrants went to, where 2,000 migrants got plumped right there from all over the world, ain't speaking no English, got crazy habits, burning buildings, burning units down. Okay, you could go do that if you want to. That's fine. Go live right there. Well, even in a spot like that, you can pay a lot of money. But you have project buildings, bad areas, hood environments for really, really cheap rent. You can live there if you want to. But the problem with even her concept of free housing, who's going to live there? Who's going to live there? Do you want to live in a place where it's going to be drugs everywhere? Everywhere? Do you want to live around crackheads? And have you ever lived in the area that had crackheads, like actively? Living in the area that has crack or any kind of drug that's active, it's bad. You're always in danger. Always. And don't let it be a big building. Pardon me. Don't let it be a big building. You're in danger. You are in danger. Those kind of places get built because the idea is grand. Oh, let's have affordable housing for the black people and for the poor white people and for the migrants. Let's have affordable housing. They're going to tear that up within a very short period of time. You might be okay with the way you live. You might not tear things up. You might have a clean apartment, but your neighbors, they're going to be doing all type of stuff. All type of stuff. You're going to always be in danger. So my advice would be, you got to just step it up so you don't have to live right there. And also, you got to live in a better place. Because my question is, where do you live to where rent is unaffordable? Where do you live? You have to move around this country. You can't just stay in one spot your whole life and then complain about it without thinking about going anywhere else. Oh, yeah. Listen, Shaquille O'Neal, you're going to hear gunshots every night. The roaches are going to be crazy. Yeah, I didn't see all type of roaches. It's to the point, I didn't see roaches so much. I know the different types. The Germans, the African ones. The Germans are the ones that are real bad because they are typically infesting. The African ones, they come from outside. They call them wood roaches. And then you got the ones that fly. Man, if you see a roach with a paraglider suit on, you don't want to see nothing like that, man. But anyway, I'm sorry for talking about that. That might be a little bit gross. But anyway, now, you might want to go live somewhere else because check it out. If you're living in California, you're dealing with stuff like this. $2,279 to rent these one-bedroom apartments. One-bedroom apartments right here. In this area, it's a little bit sketchy. Let's play this.
Just in case you're wondering how much an apartment in California costs, this lovely place has a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, and is renting for $2,779. Just in case you're...
Okay, so 2 bed, 1 bath. But still, look at this place, though. You want to live right there? Just like on the side of the road? That right there, if I saw that, that's like ghetto all day long. Ghetto. If I live right here, I'm going to have my gun at all times. But it's California, so good luck doing that. So, yeah, I think that you could do better than a place like this. If you're struggling and kind of scraping money together in California, you might want to go live somewhere else and you might have a better time. Okay? You might have a better time living somewhere else. Yeah, right by a highway. Nah, that's going to be dangerous. It's going to be dangerous. Now, look, okay, how you guys feel about HOAs? Some like HOAs, some don't. I think HOAs can be good. They have a purpose because people don't know they don't understand how to keep their home tidy on the outside. So look, the HOA says your trash cans can't be showing. All right, no sound on the video. Let me start from the top here. So your trash cans can't be showing, and they're showing the ones in front. And then she says, or he says, our yard is dirt. And then across is a dumpster. But look, though, you're probably in a brand new development. It's probably Florida or something like this. You're living in a development way out far away because y'all flooding the state. They don't got nowhere to put you. You live in 45 minutes away from town, from civilization, and these brand new development homes, these new constructions, D.R. Horton, stuff like this. That light ain't working right off the rip. I could tell you got some problems. But you're living in a brand new place. What they're trying to do is to make the neighborhoods look nice for new residents to come in. They don't want to come into a place where it's kind of ghetto, the yard not taken care of, your flower bed's a mess, you got all kind of junk cars in your front yard and the driveway. They don't want you to park on the street. They don't want you to have your yard, your trash cans outside. But the dumpster is right there because they're still building these houses. It's not done yet. They ain't got the driveway done. I see gravel right there in the front. So this is a home being constructed. Once they finish, that dumpster will be gone, and your grass, they done already planted the seeds in it. If they haven't, they're going to put topsoil and plant the seeds in it. So it's just not finished. That's why it looks like that. And once it's finished, they don't want y'all to be mucking it up with all kind of garbage on the outside of the house. How you feel about that? Is that a good thing to do, to have the HOA to make rules like that about how tidy your home is, keeping the grass cut, keeping your hedges cut, stuff like this? Because I've seen some neighborhoods where ain't no HOA and they get a hoarder. Oh my Lord. What you don't want is a hoarder in your neighborhood, because they're going to hoard outside the house too. And you're going to start to have rodents. Like you might have, all kind of stuff. You don't know what's in that hoard on the inside or outside. And if you live next door or 2 doors down, you're going to get some of their rodents to come into your home. Or at least they're going to try. Or you're going to have droppings of the rodents on your front yard. You don't want that. So it's pros and cons to an HOA. All right. But yeah, shout out to you guys who don't have an HOA and you got good neighbors. Ain't no hoarders. Ain't nobody trying to set up a meth lab or nothing crazy like that. Shout out to you guys who have that. Gut says HOAs have pros and cons, so it depends. SOW says never live in the HOA. Imagine that says F HOAs. Ron says rather have city ordinance. There we go. That's a good one. City ordinance for sure. Yeah, that's a good point, because some cities don't allow you to do whatever you want to do as far as your house, like extreme stuff, hoarding, garbage everywhere. Yeah, if your home is too just a mess, they can condemn it. They can force you. If you don't clean it up, they can condemn it and kick you out. So that's a good point. California Dreaming says California live in with the rent prices. ABL is dang right. A SR says I'd rather have a hoarder than $500 a month. Oh my God, $500 a month. They could take your house if you don't pay. See, now that's exorbitant. That's exorbitant. I pay $50 a month for my HOA. That's it. And all they're going to ask you to do is keep your grass cut, keep your home tidy on the outside. That's what they're going to ask you to do. They got certain little colors you got to paint your fence, but it's real lax. It's not like some kind of draconian type of thing. Not at all. Carolyn says no HOA required if you have at least 3 acres. I like that. I might get my next house. I might do like a bunch of acres. Yeah. And do all the do all the landscaping, everything myself. You pay $260. Bina says $190. Great Scott $175. Oh my Lord. Wow. Sue said $50. There we go. Shout out to $50 Club. $500 for HOA. Man, do y'all live in castles? Like, what is going on? Do y'all have a 15-car garage outside? $500. I would never. Golf and Gun says $100 a year here. 100-year-old neighborhood. There we go. Right on. All right. Yeah, I'm going to have that garden, Retro AI. Yeah, I'm going to have that garden for sure. All day long. Amy says, when I bought my house, I chose a neighborhood with good neighbors, no HOA. You got to pray that you don't get a bad neighbor to move in. If you get a bad neighbor, you're out of luck. All right, let's keep moving here. This is what the White House posted. Yeah, this is the White House. They posted this on their X, formerly Twitter account. Let's watch. Let's get some sound.
People in our country.
Hold on. RIP to the headphone users. Let me start that from the top.
People in our country illegally can self-deport the easy way, or they can get deported the hard way, and that.
Leave now. If you don't, we will find you and we will deport you. You will never be.
Entering this country illegally is a crime, and we're not going to forgive it.
If you cross the border, your chances of being apprehended are much greater, and if you are apprehended, you're going to be removed from the country.
Take me home to the place I belong.
People in our country.
Can't cut the last part off. You got to say the state, West Virginia. So, yeah, shout out to John Denver. Shout out to them for playing our national anthem, West Virginia, Country Roads. That's our national anthem. Okay, our colors are blue and gold, and the anthem, Country Roads by John Denver. That's our anthem. So, yeah, shout out to the White House. They posted that on their actual Twitter account. I like it. 100%. You got the app. Go ahead and self-deport. You want to get up out of here? You could go ahead. I'm with it. I am with it. Now, speaking about migrants and whatnot, there was a Taco Bell. Where is this? In Florida? South Florida. Taco Bell in South Florida where service was denied because nobody spoke any English. Watch.
This Taco Bell drive-thru, no Spanish, no service.
Excuse me, I'm trying to order food and no hay nadie que hable inglés.
Alexandra Montgomery thought it was a joke and pulled out her camera.
Okay, but I want to order food. Hay nadie que hable inglés. ¿Te puedes mover, That por doesn't favor? make any No hay sense. nadie que hable inglés. You're not making any sense. Okay.
It was 10:30 Wednesday night. Montgomery went to this Taco Bell at 785 East 9th Street in Hialeah. The employee tells Montgomery that this is Hialeah. To move on, there are cars behind her, and even gives her the address of another Taco Bell.
That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't mean nothing because this is Hialeah, but this is America. You understand what I'm saying? So if I say I want a number 6 on the menu, you can put that on the computer and take my order. Don't tell me you can't take my order because you don't speak English.
We went to Taco Bell today. You speak English?
Yes.
I can order in English, right?
Yes.
What happened the other night?
No comment.
No comment.
Wait a minute. Wait. Don't let that be the same person that was serving the other girl. I don't speak no English. I don't speak no English. Now, y'all speak English. No comment last night. I don't have a comment. My lawyer is going to be handling the case. I'm going to get Tony Busby on the case, and he's going to give me a bunch of money. Yeah, Tony, come on. We got a problem. Don't let that be her. Hopefully that's not her. But still, that's how it is in South Florida. Some places, if you don't speak Spanish, oh well. That's how it is. It's been like that for a long time. South Florida is not the South. South Florida is the Caribbean. Okay, Haitians, Cubans everywhere. It's pretty much Cuba. So if you don't speak Spanish, good luck. They run South Florida all day long. That's why I like Atlanta more, because I can speak English and speak normal and it's not weird. You know, I could understand what she was saying in Spanish. I would have been all right to be able to order right there. But number one, if it's 10:30 p.m., I'm not going to be at Taco Bell. I don't go to Taco Bell, no way. Taco Bell, you asking to have stomach problems. Your stomach going to be hating you. I eat so well normally. If I go to Taco Bell, it's going to be, I'm be on the toilet, my stomach like this. ABL, what are we doing, bro? Like, really? Taco Bell? Is that what you're going to give me tonight? Taco Bell? What am I going to do with this? I'm going to be on the toilet crying tears. Crying. So, nah, I'm good on that. But what do y'all think? Should it matter where you are in America? Should everyone speak English at a place like Taco Bell or anything like that? Or, hey, man, it's Hialeah. What you going to do? This is just pretty much Cuba. Or Puerto Rico. What are we going to do? All right, but yeah, Taco Bell is nasty, Les. Yeah, I can't do nothing with Taco Bell. Man, I I would have the worst stomach ache in my life. I'll be like, man, Lord, please come get me now. Good grief. All right, now I want to show this right quick. This is a little bit different, but I'm gonna get back to some of the migrant stuff. This is a judge talking to, I believe, a young lady about some things. I just want to show this just for some education, as always.
Do you?
20.
Like, how do you make money to eat?
I have a boyfriend that supports me.
Are you living with him?
He lives with me. I have my own apartment.
Well, how are you paying for your apartment?
It's already paid for a year through housing.
All right, so this is what I know about housing, because I used to do CPS cases. If you're on housing, your boyfriend's not supposed to be living with you. And honestly, your boyfriend's not supporting you. You know who's supporting you? Everybody in here who has a job and pays taxes. I'm supporting you. Your attorney's supporting you. All the attorneys who are in here supporting you. Anybody in the gallery who has a job is supporting you. So your boyfriend is not supporting you. And what I'm going to tell you right now, if your boyfriend is living with you and you're on housing, guess what? If the government finds out about it, which usually they do, you're going to end up having charges because they're going to want their money back. And this is the way the government works. The government doesn't tell you. How old are you?
20. All right, so there's more to that. I think at the end, she was going to say, the government won't tell you when they know the boyfriend's living there. They'll let it happen for a little while, and then they're going to investigate you. They're going to observe it. They let it go on for about 6 months to a year, maybe, depending upon where you live at. They're going to build a case on you. And then they're going to provide photos. It's going to be a PI on you, all of that. And it's going to be easy. All they're going to do is go straight to your house. They can go into your house all the time for inspections. They're going to see Timberland boots and stuff like this on the ground. Okay, size 14 Timberland boot. Who does that belong to? That's your boyfriend's. So they're going to collect evidence and present you with a case. And you're going to get evicted. Plus, you're going to get charges. So you'll be right back in court dealing with that because your boyfriend was living there. If the place is taken care of by housing, which means the government pays for your housing. See, there go the whole thing. Oh, why can't we all get housing? Okay, but should be your neighbor with the boyfriend in there, smoking weed, playing PlayStation, halfway working, okay, hustling, bringing money back to her. Trying to game the system, 20 years old out here, not really working for yourself, but having him bring back a little bit of hustling money while you game the system. They're not going to play that. We don't like that in this country. So you have your housing. What you need to do is go out there and get a job and bring money for yourself rather than relying upon him. Housing is for those who are really, really struggling. It's not for people that are just trying to game the system. But of course, with welfare benefits, with anything like that, people do game the system, and that's part of the problem. That's part of the problem. And also, people that do that kind of thing are incentivized to not be productive, which is why they're talking about, oh, Americans don't want to work. We got to bring in the migrants. It's because America has incentivized people to not want to work by allowing stuff like that to go on. But yeah, shout out to her. Hopefully she fixes that situation before she messes around and get charged for having the boyfriend there. And don't let him be a dope boy. And they find that. Not only do they find the Timberland boots, they found some weed. You about to go to jail too. You about to get charged for having the boyfriend in the house when he shouldn't have been, and for having drugs and stuff in the house. Drugs. They might find a gun in there. Anyway, I digress. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously.
Why do we?
All right. Now, speaking about where's the dad, which was my thought process. Shout out to Charlie Kirk. He's at one of these colleges, and the young lady's here saying, hey, why do we need dads in the house? Like, what's going on? Because I had no dad in the house, and it was fine. Let's watch.
Why do we care if there's no father? I grew up without a father. I feel like I'm doing fine. I'm doing great. I'm in college. Like, why are we so towards the father? Why does he need to be there so much?
In the black community, when fathers are no longer around, crime goes up, poverty goes up, because you'll understand this less.
Let's pause for a second. Now, Charlie, you got to make it kind of make sense to Molly right here because she's not black, but I'll do that if you don't.
And a man in the audience who grew up without a father will totally get this. If it's just a mom in the house, the dad should come in and discipline the 14-year-old for acting like a brat. The dad comes in and he says, stop doing this. You need to be able to outrank the 14-year-old brat with another masculine figure.
Why do we care if there's...
Okay, so that was okay, Charlie. That was okay. That was kind of a good crash course on it, but I kind of want to go a little bit deeper. Now, having a dad in the home is important because you're able to see the way men interact with women in a healthy way. If you got, good parents, they're healthy, they're not engaging in violence, it's good for people to be able to see that, especially for boys, because boys are going to observe and they're going to do what they observe. It's going to stick in their mind. It's going to stick in their mind from a young age because they're blank slates. So when they're able to see adults behaving in a certain way, they're going to want to emulate that. They're going to want to be like that. Okay. Especially if y'all have a good relationship. But it's just some things you're going to learn naturally from your father that your mother can't teach you. The mother is good from like what they call the tender years, from birth to about 7 or 8 years old. Once you start going into middle school years, now you need your father to be more of an active role to teach, to educate, to talk. That's what you're going to need. Your mom is good to handle emotions. And when you're a baby, you can't communicate. She has to be able to connect to you emotionally to understand what you need. The father can't do that well, but the father can directly talk to you and teach you. That's the way it's supposed to work. That's why fathers are very important. Moms are important as well. It's important to have both. And when you don't, back to what Charlie said, you're going to have a lot of crime, a lot of violence happens as a result. People that can't control their emotions, they don't understand, they're kind of lost. A lot of guys wind up being soft, whether they be black or white. That's kind of what happens. A lot of LGBT happens like that because ain't no father to protect the boy and tell the boy that you can't do certain things, you can't get touched in a certain kind of way. You see what I'm saying? So that's very important. But shout out to Charlie, though, for giving a little bit of advice to the young lady. Okay. And that's right, Great Scott. Both are necessary. Both are needed. All right. You got to have both.
No.
Now, going back to the whole thing about college, here's a young guy talking about why college is not really on his radar. All right, let's watch.
No, at this point, at this day and age, that college is a scam. So why would I'm 23, I never went to college. Why would I want to go and sit there and be lectured by a guy who is anti-Christian, anti-masculinity, and anti-white people for 4 years and then give him my money and go into debt? I think a lot of guys are very smart in avoiding this, and many guys are actually choosing to opt in for trade schools. I have a friend of mine who's doing his apprenticeship as an HVAC technician right now, doing AC, and he's making more money than the girl who just graduated college with her bachelor's in business, marketing or something like that, which even that would be considered a more useful degree. My dad just filmed a movie where his co-star, this young woman, had just graduated college or was just entering her junior or senior year of college. And he asked her what she was studying. And she goes, gender studies. And he goes, here you go. Male and female. Congratulations, you've passed. And now you're $80,000 into debt. So you have these people with these useless degrees. There's no reason or there's no, wonder why these guys are opting out of it, because it's a waste of time. 99% of the time, it's pointless. Unless you want to become a lawyer or a doctor, I really don't see a benefit in college. And even then, some states will allow you to take the bar without actually going to law school for it. My aunt knew someone, because she's a lawyer, knew someone who did just that. And he's one of the best lawyers in the state of Florida. And so we have this kind of idea still ingrained in our minds that school is necessary, when in reality, it's really not. We go into debt and spend decades of our time trying to pay it back. I mean, the median college graduate salary in 1959 was $10,000. If you make up for inflation, that is over, I think, $80,000 today. Whereas today, the median average graduation is $60,000. That doesn't keep up for inflation, especially when you account for how much money is worthless now, right? It doesn't cost the same to rent an apartment now as it did 40, 50 years ago. It doesn't cost the same to buy groceries or a car or a house 40, 50, 60 years ago, right? So we're not keeping up with inflation with college. And a lot of guys are looking at that statistic and going, okay, well then maybe I should find something else to do that isn't going to put me in massive amounts of crippling debt.
Wow. Wow. That was great. Young dude. Hey, hold on. Wow. Young dude. That's what I'm talking about. It's a lot of young guys just like that. They give me hope for the future because they get it. They understand. It's like, why am I going to spend so much money? It's not a good return on investment. I'm not making that much money. Things are hard. Things are more expensive. I got to do something else that makes more money. I got to do something else that makes more money. Okay, there's a shortage of skilled tradesmen. It's been a long time shortage of skilled tradesmen. So why don't I go into that and I can make more money? Okay, working as an apprentice right now, then I can start my own business. I can get guys to work with me. I'm good. Then I'm able to invest. I'm able to get into real estate. I have skills on my hands so I could do different. I could build certain things on my own. It just makes sense. Now, you do need to have your intellectual people as well. You need to have your smart guys that do other things, but I don't think it needs to be a degree in business administration. What you going to do with that for real? You don't need a degree in business administration. You could just read up on how to engage in business, how to start business. It's not going to help you by having a degree in that. You need to have a degree in a certain specific skill in order for it to make sense, or in a certain specific thing. Okay, education. You want to be a teacher. See, you got a degree for a specific thing. A degree, business. Okay, what you going to do with a degree in business? What's the specific thing you're going to go do with that degree that you cannot do without that degree? So yeah, shout out to him. He's right on point. And I think that is Kevin Sorbo's son. So shout out to Kevin Sorbo and his boy, Braden. Shout out to Braden. All right, now.
Who do you?
Here's JD. Not pardon me. I done already spoiled it. Here is Byron Donalds talking about who's up next in 2028 to be the Republican Party's presidential nominee. Because we all know Trump's going to be done. Second term is over. Who's going to be next in 2028?
Who do you think becomes the next nominee for the Republican Party? Trump says he wants to do a third term.
People are asking me to run, and there's a whole story about running for a third term.
People will lose it if he tries to do that.
On a serious note, I think everybody could feel the nostalgia like this was the last ride in terms of campaigns. JD's the leader in the clubhouse.
And he's a beast. He's good going at the media.
JD is good.
Who do you think?
So JD, that's the main guy. That's the guy that Byron Donald says is up next. The whole third term thing, that ain't going to happen. I mean, it's cool to talk about, but let's just be serious. It ain't going to happen. I think JD Vance got it in 2028. Some would say that Byron should have it, but Byron not ready. Byron can be the governor of Florida for now. And then once he does that and does that pretty well, I think after that, he'll be prepared to be in higher office. I think at that point, he'll be ready for that. But right now, no. I think JD Vance got it. And JD's still a little bit undeveloped, but I think throughout his presidency or his vice presidency, pardon me, he'll get a lot better. But he's good right now, though. But he'll be much better when it comes time to 2028, in my humble opinion. So, yeah, shout out to JD Vance. Shout out to Byron Donalds. Now, look, we got the Pope. He dead. R.I.P. R.I.P. to the Pope. Okay. And Zelensky showed up not wearing a suit. I'm like, bro, really? Is that what we going to do? Zelensky, no suit? Hold on. And I got a few of these clips right here. He kind of wore a halfway suit, a little bit of a suit. Fisher Price, my very first suit. It comes with a jacket that has pockets on the front. Like you better put cigarettes in there, Newport 100s. But anyway, let's watch.
Blue sky. It is a stunning.
There you go. So there goes the little suit jacket. Well, not suit jacket, like a overcoat. It's like a not an overcoat. It's like a shirt coat. It has like a regular collar and buttons, like pockets on the breast with buttons.
Beautiful day here in Italy. And there you see actually applause breaking out right now, if you can hear them in the background here for Ukraine's President Zelensky. And James, I'll let you pick up on that point. Pope Francis was quiet for a time, but not fully when it came to Russia and Ukraine. And in the end, made it clear that he stood with the Ukrainian people.
Of course. Why not? You're European.
Absolutely, David. We're just watching, actually, the crowds just below us here clapped as soon as they saw President Zelensky on the big screens, because there are screens all around the square. As you say, the funeral is going to take place on this square. I'm struck by the contrast here today, David, because we're seeing these world leaders, these presidents, the prime ministers, monarchs are here. And yet also today is going to be marked with celebrating the poor, the most needy of Rome. They will be there when Pope Francis is buried. And that really was who Pope Francis was. And yes, when he spoke about Ukraine and Russia and all conflict, but he did focus on Ukraine and Russia particularly, and of course the situation in Gaza. He spoke about weapons of peace. All
right, that's you get the idea what's going on. So yeah, RIP to the Pope. Pope Francis, how old was Pope Francis? What, 85? 88? 88. Yeah, not 1988. He was born in 1936, actually, 1936. He turned 88 years old. So Yeah, RIP to him. Zelensky was there. Quite a few people were there. I don't think Netanyahu was there, which is interesting. Not really surprising.
And Monsignor, is this the...
Okay, hold on. Was there more I wanted to show from this? Nah, I think I'm good. Oh, okay. So look, we got some security out here at the Pope's funeral. That's an interesting gun right there. That's an anti-drone gun. Look at that bad boy right there. That's an anti-drone gun. So the idea is, it's the guy that got binoculars, and he has the drone gun. So if you spot a drone in the sky, you point that gun at it, it's going to send a pulse, and then the drone comes down. That's an anti-drone gun.
Come si chiama?
And you're going to see a lot more of these just out because the world is different. And then don't let AI get in them drones. Man, they didn't already pretty much the Matrix. I mean, it's kind of like some it's kind of creepy, a little teeny bit. Like a lot of this stuff that was in movies and whatnot is happening. Not everything. I thought it was going to be flying cars, but people don't know what kind of gender they want to be. Ain't no flying cars because people don't know whether they're a boy or a girl. But the drones and stuff like that is 100% real. It is real. All right. Now, speaking about foreign countries, this Chinese guy has some words about Donald Trump. I don't know. You know what? Don't say I'm racist, but whenever I see a video on social media with a Chinese person speaking, I think propaganda off the rip. But let's watch.
God bless this man. Why Chinese Americans support Trump? All right. So the reason is the Democrat administration, Biden administration, lead this country towards socialism and eventually towards communist dictatorship. We came from China. We know this is the way. This is not like people here don't understand what is a communist is. We know communist is, what communist is. That's why we support Trump.
You know, as immigrants, a lot of people might say that Trump is anti-immigrants or,
Trump is not anti-immigrant. It's just against illegal immigrant. It must be lawfully.
This means a lot coming from a Chinese citizen.
All right, so shout out to him. Yeah, I don't want to get too much of that. China's great. China, we don't got to do all that. But at the end of the day, I agree with that. Like the whole thing about communism being a very serious thing, and you don't want that. Yeah, that Great Leap Forward, that was what, like in the 60s, I think that happened. That was kind of recently. Hold on. That was at least in the 40s. Yeah, it was 1958 and 1962. 1958 to 1962. That was the Great Leap Forward in China. Millions died. Millions. They say between 15 and 55 million people died in the 60s to push China forward because it was all about the collective. Hey, we got to just move forward and become a world player. So, hey, we're going to do this right now. If a lot of the country dies in the process, oh well. That was the thought process back then. You got a farm in your backyard. Now we're going to smelt steel back there. If you die of famine, oh well. That was that's communism. Okay, that's communism. You got to be careful. You got to be careful. Okay, now look, check it out. Speaking about China. So CNN, they're trying to scare Americans because they say that there's a lack of full ships coming from China, and that represents shortages and maybe a bad economy. Let's watch some of this, and then I'm going to explain my point of view on it.
Whiteboard. This is something you pointed out. Okay, it's something called blank shipping, right? All right, blank shipping. So I'm just going to draw a container ship. Blank sailing. I'm not going to put a sail on it because it's a big cargo ship. But you got a big cargo ship here, okay? Usually it's full of cargo on the top. Beginning of the year, these ships leaving Asia, 0% of them were skipping ports. They were going to every port. They were picking up what they had. Containers were full. 100%. Okay, now 40%. These are the numbers you're pointing to, Dan. As many as 40% of these ships, guess what? Okay,
bypassing
this is
ports, and
bypassing ports. So
inventory is down 40%.
And ships have to go when they have to go. You can't just sit around and wait. So they're going with just a few containers on them. Just these half-empty, who knows what, from 0% to 40%.
And just think about what it's going to look like over the next week, 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And that's why deals need to get done, because this is what business leaders from e-commerce, across every industry are basically saying, like, time's ticking, and guess what's going to happen? Shortages, massive price increases, and that's where, look, we just talked about, for the U.S. consumer hasn't seen it yet.
No.
It's come, look, remember, it goes back to, like, it's like being on a beach, and all of a sudden, like, you're in the ocean, there's no water. You're like, oh, this is crazy.
I'm going to run out and check it out.
I'm going to run out. You're like, no, it's because the tsunami's coming. So the point is that the reality is that he needs to get deals done.
Let's pause for a second. Now, you could see it like that. You could see it like, okay, you're causing massive shortages. There's going to be massive price increases because of the empty selling. Okay. But you could also see it like maybe the tariffs are working, and the fact that we're not going to be so reliant upon Chinese goods, because this can't continue. It can't just be we get everything from China, and it's a bunch of knickknacks and garbage we don't need. Knickknacks and garbage we don't need. Okay, how much of them empty vessels are filled with Shein, Fashion Nova, pure BS you get from the internet that you don't need? How much of that is that? How much of that is just straight up consumer spending on garbage? That's what I want to know. Or are we talking about things you really need, like food, like basic clothing? What are we talking about exactly? What is not being picked up? You can't just say, okay, there's a bunch of empty vessels. There's not enough goods coming. What's being held, though? Do we not have food? Do we not have clothing? Do we not have shelter? I don't know. But we're going to see. And look, we're going to go back to Mr. Pink Hoodie in a little bit and see just what is missing. Just what we don't have anymore. That's what I want to know. What are we missing? What are we not going to have? Okay. Buy American. No Temu. No Alibaba. Man, listen, I see some of the craziest stuff. People, shout out to the UPS guys. I know UPS, FedEx, the last mile. I know y'all see Shein, Fashion Nova, all kind of stuff all day long. Straight up nonsense. Is that Larry David? Nah, that ain't him. I thought it was him at first too. But nah, that ain't Larry David. I don't think Larry David would look like that with the little afro puffs on the side. But maybe I'm wrong. But shout out to Larry David, but that ain't him. Yeah, so I think it would be okay. I think it's working as intended. And I think we need to have more dependence upon America. All righty. So here's Adam Schiff talking about his luggage was taken in San Francisco. And when he was trying to get new luggage, the person in there gave him a message. All righty, let's watch.
We're going to have to change how we do business in California. We're going to have to address people's legitimate concerns about crime. I was in South San Francisco 2 years ago after I had an experience in the city that all too many people had. When my luggage was stolen out of my car, they tell you don't ever leave your luggage in the car. I never do until the one time I did. And of course, it got stolen. And what was most memorable about the experience for me is I went to this Target in South San Francisco, 10 o'clock at night, and I'm getting the toiletries I'm going to need for my next 2 days in the city. I get to the cashier.
You went there by yourself, not an assistant.
I think I went there. Well, yes, I had somebody drop me off at the store, and so I don't
mean to make that an issue.
I mean, it's dangerous. You out there by yourself, San Francisco, as Adam Schiff, man, they might do something to you. They already done stole your luggage, so what else can you do to you?
See, I waited somewhere I should not have waited.
First of all, I had to get the clerk, which is hard to find, to unlock the shampoo or the whatever. So that's one thing. And then I get to the cashier. The cashier asked me if I want one of those Target bags with a little bullseye on it. And I said, yes, that Target bag is going to be my luggage for the next 2 days. And she asked me what happened, and I told her. And she basically said, in not so many words, yeah, Democrats are assholes. And I thought, if the cashier in South San Francisco at 10 o'clock at night believes that Democrats are assholes because the shampoo is locked up and my stuff got stolen out of the trunk, we've got a major problem that we have to address. And I think
that's an awesome story.
So, Adam Schiff, what's the problem, though? What's the problem? Do you think that, because the way you said that at the end was pretty telling, talking about, well, since they think the Democrats are the problem, then we got a problem. Well, what's the problem? The fact that she thinks that and it's not really true, or the fact that you guys are the problem and that your policies have your state like that? I could never live in a place like that. You can't just go get things. Everything's locked up. You get in, it's going to be an automatic crime. You're going to get your car broken into instantly. As soon as you have anything in your car, they're taking it. Middle of the daytime, nighttime, broad day, in front of people, it don't matter. You getting your car robbed instantly. People are struggling out there. It's crazy. It's lawless. It's drugs everywhere, especially Oakland, San Francisco, all of that. Terrible. You couldn't pay me any dollar amount to live out there. I'm good. And they telling you, yo, you guys are the problem. But are you going to receive that, Adam Schiff? Are you really going to receive it or not? Y'all let me know. But yeah, San Francisco, it's bad. It's real bad. The drugs, all of that. And I wonder who stole, well, and look, in San Fran, you have people out there that are just starving, stealing your luggage. People that have, they don't care. They do whatever they want. Lawless people. Then you got your people that, Sam Brinton, the klepto that stole luggage in the airport. I mean, Democrats, man, sticky fingers, and they also enable sticky fingers. All right, now let's get to a little bit more. Who is it? Is this Sam Cedar? Is that him? Yeah, Sam Cedar. Guys like this, guys, to the guys out there, you don't want to be a Sam Cedar. If this is you, you don't want to be him. Let's listen to him defend MS-13 and other criminal gangs like that. Watch.
The amount of lies that she is spewing is absolutely shocking. Shocking. He's not a designated terrorist. He's just not.
Because he's not in MS-13.
Even if he was in MS-13,
insane to call gangs terrorists.
These are not terrorist organizations. The word has meaning.
But they're trying to use terrorists as a way to expand their policing power.
If you are deporting 900 of these so-called terrorists, how is it that they have just come along, no guns, no gunfight? Yeah. Do you think that we wouldn't know if there was a gunfight with these terrorists? Mm-hmm. Do you think we wouldn't have seen the plans they have for the terrorism that they're committing?
This guy's an idiot, though. This guy's a complete mouth breather. This is the kind of guy that would be lampooned on the 90s sitcom. Oh, Sam, you're so dumb. That's him. A complete idiot. You think it's got to be a gunfight for them to be terrorists? Is that how you think crime happens? So no other kind of way it happens. Not bringing in fentanyl, not bringing in drugs, not siphoning money, not stealing, human trafficking. You think it is out there shooting each other? Your idea of what crime is not based in reality because you don't know anything. You're just a complete idiot. So don't be, to the men out there, don't be, I know, listen, I know y'all know, but, and look at her. She's just there. She knows better because she probably was raised with a dad that loved her. She knows better. What's she going to do? She right here with him, making money with him. So what's she going to do? Looking like Jenny from Forrest Gump. I feel bad for you. So yeah, shout out to them. shout out to Sam Cedar. Hey, bro, come on, man. It's got to be a gunfight for crime to happen. Is that how it works? For real, bro? Come on, man. Do you go outside? I don't get it. They are exactly, they're clueless, GS. That's right. They're clueless. They have no idea what's going on in this country at all. We know, which is why we think and vote the way we want to vote. They don't understand why we vote this way. They don't get it because they don't get this country. They live in a little ivory tower where nothing ever happens, and they think, well, look, I'm safe, and the guy who speaks Spanish cuts my grass, and I love him. I love Jose and his wife Esmeralda, they're great. And nobody talking about them. We're talking about the criminals that actually commit crime in this country and across the border. We ain't talking about people that's working and been working for forever. We're talking about the criminals. And if you work and you're a criminal, well, hey, the criminality overrides your work. All right. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. And yes, Jeep guy, Jenny was a villain in Forrest Gump. She was a villain. Took advantage of Forrest. Forrest loved her with all his heart and soul. She took advantage of him. Okay, Sam Cedar is the dope fiend pimp guy that she settled out with. Okay, I'm doing too much. Anyway, let's keep moving here. Big Mike. Big Mike says, hey, I didn't want to go to the funeral. I didn't want to go to the inauguration because I want to take better care of me. And I want to do this. And I want to do that. And I, me. Selfish. One of the most selfish rants I've ever heard in my whole life. But let's watch.
My decision to skip the inauguration, what people don't realize, or my decision to make choices at the beginning of this year that suited me were met with such ridicule and criticism. Like, people couldn't believe that I was saying no for any other reason, that they had to assume that my marriage was falling apart.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It's like, while I'm here really trying to own my life and intentionally practice making the choice that was right for me, and it took everything in my power to not do the thing that was right, or that was perceived as right, but do the thing that was right for me.
Mm-hmm.
That was a hard thing for me to do.
Me. Listen, when you are the president's wife, ain't no more. It's not about you for real. At moments like this, we're not trying to say you got to be out there every day like Hillary Clinton trying to be Secretary of State. You don't got to do all that, but at least show up for these events. Show up for the inauguration. Show up for Jimmy Carter's funeral. Show up for things where your husband is. He's a president or was a president. Once a president, always a president, and you're always a president's wife. You don't have to be involved with politics. You don't got to do this podcast either. Listen, Laura Bush, I don't know how Laura Bush sounds. She might have said 2 words the whole time that W was in office. I don't know how she sounds. Melania, same thing. She might talk every 6 months to a year. And when she does talk, it ain't that much. She's not out there trying to be in politics, trying to have a podcast, trying to get attention. She is worried about her husband and her son, Barron, and the whole family, that whole operation. She's not trying to be getting her own special attention and special treatment, unlike Big Mike. I'm upset because I feel for Barack Obama, and I'm not even a fan of Barack, but good grief. What did he do to deserve this? What did he do to deserve this? I mean, he might not have been the great president, but my goodness.
I had to basically trick myself out of it. And it started with not having anything to wear. I mean, I had affirmatively, because I'm always prepared for any funeral, anything. I walk around with the right dress.
Listen, you don't got to be, I'm going to stop right here. You don't have to be involved in politics anymore. You don't have to do all the things, but just show up for the funeral. Like, show up every now and again. You come out, 2-3 times a year, and you go back to doing whatever you want to do. How hard is that? You want to be famous on your own. You want to have Tracy Ellis Ross and Taraji P. Henson. You want to be Sam Rothstein. You want to be popular. You want to be famous. If you are famous guy, big, powerful guy, your wife should say nothing, no words, no talking. Anyway, hold on. I want to show the boyfriend from Forrest Gump right quick. Can we go back to that just right quick? Because it's going to be funny. When I show this guy, it's going to be funny. Hold on. It's going to be a striking resemblance to who we just saw on camera. Let me, hold on. All right, hold on. Boom. So remember I was saying that she looks like Jenny. She looks like Jenny. And he looked like the boyfriend. That the drugged out pimp guy that took all the money in the end. The same way they had it in Casino. Same kind of dude that took Ginger's money. But anyway, so look, that's her right here, right? That's her, and that's him, Sam Cedar, and whoever that is right next to him. Okay, we get the picture, we get the image. Now let's go to Jenny. Same person. That's Jenny. Am I lying or am I telling the truth? It's the same thing. And now look, watch this. There go the boyfriend right there. Same glasses, all of that. All of that. The same hair. Same hair. That's him. Man, funny, man. Art imitate life. But anyway, yeah, Jenny's much prettier. Yeah, shout out to the OG actress who played Jenny. Yeah, but if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out. So it ain't just me, okay? So y'all see it. Being that you don't see it, being that, okay. All right, I'm taking too much of it. I don't know. I just happened to see that. I just want to show y'all. Let's keep moving here. We got a little bit more. It's 10 o'clock already. All right, but look. Oh, we got to show this one. We got to show this. This was crazy. So look, I might want to do a part 2 on the whole thing with the judge that got arrested. Okay, because look. So here's a judge. Judge Kane in not West Virginia, in New Mexico. This guy and his wife were arrested for harboring not 1, not 2, but 3 illegal aliens from Venezuela who were members of the Trinidad Agua gang. Now, this guy was hanging out with him. Look, they in the house drinking. They used to go to the gun range, all that kind of stuff. And it was 3 of these guys living with them. And when the story is reported, the mainstream media might want to say, oh, they were just tenants and they didn't know anything. And nah, that's your tenant. Y'all are pretty chummy, pretty buddy just to be tenants. You know this man. This is your friend. And if y'all that comfortable to be drinking and living in the house together, you know exactly where he came from, exactly what he does, and his buddies do the same thing. So you knew full well you were harboring illegal alien gang members. You knew that, Judge Kano. Okay, and this guy was a judge while this whole thing was going on. As these people are living in his house, he was an active judge. And there he is, and basically in the same shirt, getting arrested by ICE. Okay, and hey, hold on. Shout out to ICE. Shout out to ICE for doing their job. Let's get to a video. So there he is being arrested. It's like, bro, what were you thinking to have illegal aliens just in your crib? Illegal alien gang members, and you're a judge in New Mexico. Federales on him. They got him and the wife. They got the wife right there. Man, big rocks, little rocks. Do you know, listen, I done had guys call me when they were on the run talking about, can I stay with you? I'm like, absolutely not. You better not come around here. Listen, you on the run. I say, yo, you know how they call me? Hey, man, look, they got me, man. Can I come stay with you? Look, bro. No, you can't. If you ask me, I said, turn yourself in. Because they gonna get you. Where you gonna go? They already got your phone. Like, they already know. Just go ahead and turn yourself in. If you step foot on my property, I'm going to call the police on you and say, yo, he right here. You would do that to me? I sure will. I'm giving you the warning right now. Because if they catch you in my house, I'm going to get in trouble. So if I would get locked up for harboring a fugitive, one person, they got to go for harboring 1, 2, 3 illegal alien Trinidad Agua gang members. They got to go. They got to go. So yeah, shout out to Tom Homan. Shout out to ICE. Hey, Tom Homan, bro. I'm going to name my firstborn son Tom Homan. I'm playing. But anyway, so look, here's Phil Murphy some months ago talking about doing a similar thing. But then later when we confronted him, like, yo, you got a illegal in your house? Oh, nah, I was just, all right. But watch this. Again, this is New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy saying that he would harbor an illegal alien in his home.
Talking about, I don't want to get into too much detail, but there's someone in our broader universe whose immigration status is not yet at the point that they are trying to get it to. And we said, you know what, let's have her live at our house above our garage. And good luck to the feds coming in to try to get her.
That sounds pretty direct. It doesn't sound like, oh, well, she's not really there. Ain't nobody above my garage. That sounds like someone you know, friends of the family, whatever the case may be, is not here legally. And you say, hey, stay in the above garage apartment and it's cool. And you dare the federales to come get her. And when the federales came knocking, you say, well, I was just playing. Nah, that person probably got shipped out. As soon as the block got a little bit hot, she was shipped straight back to Venezuela or wherever she came from. 100%. I believe she was living there. And when things got, when the tough got going, she got up out of there. But you know what? That's a plus for us. Easy deportation. We have to go in your house and embarrass you and do all that kind of stuff, drag you out and do a perp walk like you did with the judge over there. You got her out voluntarily. Mexican Anne Frank is hilarious. A slave. Exactly. That's what it is. That's what it's going to ultimately be is the migrants are going to be slaves. That's the end game for a lot of these people. They're cool with the migrants because they see them as just working, slaving. So yeah, shout out to him. Hopefully they get him. They get him locked up. Big rocks, little rocks. Now, they're mad about judges getting arrested. It was a Wisconsin judge. Hold on. I'm going to show Ro Khanna right quick.
Morning.
Ro Khanna, the California House rep, talking about a judge getting arrested because she did something she shouldn't have been doing with the illegal aliens. This is a different judge. The judge in New Mexico and his wife got arrested for harboring the 3 people, and they got pictures and videos with the guys, so it's not even a thing. We got evidence. But here's another judge trying to interfere with illegal aliens being deported. Watch.
This morning, the Trump administration's FBI, headed by Kash Patel, arrested a Wisconsin judge for simply standing up for the rights of immigrants. This is without any historical precedent and truly terrifying. Every American, every person who cares about the rule of law and freedom needs to stand up and speak out. We need to demand the release of this judge and have due process and the rule of law. This morning, the Trump administration.
So this whole thing about due process, they've been kind of astroturfing that term. And that's why a lot of the so-called protesters will say that, oh, we got to have rule of law. We got to have due process. All right. Where was the due process at when they came here illegally to begin with? Where was the due process at when they came here illegally and got sent to New York City, Chicago, Illinois, Denver, Colorado? Where was the due process then? I don't think that Eric Adams and everybody else, even the Lori, Dirtyfoot, Lightfoot, or whoever, Jared Polis, I don't think they really asked for the illegal aliens to come to their particular neck of the woods. Some of them are going to be soft and act like they want them, but they really don't. They really don't. They prefer to not have them because they're a burden upon their area.
Yeah.
But let's watch this on MS13 DNC and see their opinion about the arrested judge. The Wisconsin judge arrested by FBI at her own courthouse.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, the Justice Department thinks they have a really good position here. Pam Bondi was on television today boasting about this arrest and using language that prosecutors don't tend to use, especially in the pre-indictment phase, not saying allegedly, saying that it happened. And look, I think a lot depends on if the facts are true, as alleged by the FBI agent in the court papers today. It doesn't look great for the judge, no matter how you slice it. But then the other question is, was this kind of escalatory action, was this the best course of action, to actually go and arrest her and take her to court and charge her federally? That's a big step. Yeah, well,
because what's going to happen is you're going to have a lot of activist judges that are trying to oppose what's happening under the current administration. We saw a lot of what they call that lawfare that was happening against the president before he became the president. So now we got to crack down on it, because if we don't, they're just kind of try to control the country from the bench. And that's not how you do that. There is separation of powers for a reason. So if you're doing the wrong thing, if you are getting in the way of official federal business, then you got to get up out of there. and you're going to be held accountable. And I think she'll be an example for other judges so they don't try to go out there and do whatever they want to do.
I hear
All right, let's go back to CNN right quick for more about the judge.
these people chanting no justice, no peace. Let's not forget, this person, Mr. Ruiz, committed 2 crimes. He entered the United States illegally. Well, I don't know about the second crime. He's in court there today for domestic violence charge, okay? So it's not like he's there because he's, he's an upstanding citizen. Somebody brought charges against the guy to show up in court for allegedly domestic, hitting somebody in some circumstance. So 2 strikes against the guy to begin with. The judge in this case knows what's going on, sees the ICE officials in the back. To Ellie's point, makes the conscious decision. I'm going to break the law. I'm going to break the law. And let me just make it clear: this president was elected overwhelmingly to seal the border and close down immigration loopholes. We had a poll recently, Harry put out, 60% of Americans today want to deport every one of the 11 million plus illegal aliens. They want to deport them. So for Trump, for the Trump administration politically, winner, winner, chicken dinner, every time you get somebody in this case, this judge, there's that, remember when the Colombian president had did the plane shuffle and then Trump put out the tweet with the face and the FAFO? Same tweet here today.
Right on. And the thing about it is this: the people who want the illegal aliens in the country think they know more than us. They think that they're doing the right thing, and we're just them Americans. We have no education. We don't know what's best for us. We got to have the migrants here because they're going to work and do jobs that Americans don't want to do, all this, that, and the third. But what we experience on the ground is a bunch of crime, a bunch of violence, and we're spending a bunch of taxpayer money. Things are becoming difficult to manage because of the migrants. The migrants are causing the problem. They're causing their problem, and we don't want them here. Listen, you got migrants beating their wife, all type of stuff, man. It's like, okay, bad enough you want to be here illegally. That's bad enough. Then you want to commit crime on top of that. It's like, come on, man. Seriously, how am I to feel sorry for you? If I committed a crime, I get locked up, but you don't. Why? Because you're a migrant? I mean, what is that all about? Now that breeds contempt in Americans because we feel like they are given special benefits that we are not given as Americans. They're given the magic money cards. They are allowed to drive with no licenses. They can beat people up. Human trafficking, might be a little bit of drugs and guns. And there's like no penalty. No penalty. And it's like, well, like if we are a nation of laws, where's the law enforcement? I ain't talking about police. Shout out to the cops. I'm talking about the ability of the police to enforce the law. Okay, let's arrest this illegal alien and then let's allow them to get deported out. But a judge, when they get in the way, like in this case in Wisconsin, the guy was here illegally and he got hit with a domestic violence charge. ICE in the back of the courtroom trying to get him. She's shielding the guy from actually being deported. You got to get out the way. You're interfering with official federal government procedure. That's illegal. That's illegal. I know the law. I'm no lawyer, but I know the law. And I know if I did that, they'd lock me up. I done seen guys get jammed up for stuff like that. So the migrants can't get this special pass that they could do whatever they want to do. No, we're not doing that. Now here's Pam Bondi talking about the judge.
So rare for victims to want to cooperate. They wanted to cooperate. They were sitting in the courtroom with the state prosecutor. The judge learns that ICE was outside to get the guy because he had been deported in 2013, came back in our country, commits these crimes, charged with committing these crimes, victims in court. Judge finds out. She goes out in the hallway, screams at the immigration officers. She's furious, visibly shaken, upset, sends them off to talk to the chief judge. She comes back in the courtroom. You're not going to believe this. Takes the defendant and the defense attorney back in her chambers, takes them out a private exit and tells them to leave. While a state prosecutor and victims of domestic violence are sitting in the courtroom.
Wow.
Madam Attorney General, great to have you here. And thanks for coming back on America.
I'll pause it right there, but I wanted you to hear the full story of what the judge did. Now, I don't care who the person was that she tried to defend, whether this guy's black, white, Puerto Rican, and candy stripe. I don't care what color she is. I don't care what species she identifies as. You can't do stuff like that. You can't do stuff like that. So, nah. You are arrested, and she might get a slap on the wrist. I don't know. But you can't we cannot allow that kind of behavior to continue. If we don't prosecute that, if there's no accountability for that, then that same thing will happen again. And we can't have that. We cannot have that going on. All right, hold on. I see a comment right here. MAGA Woman says, ABL, what useful trade would you recommend for women? I'm glad young men are going the trade route and more conservative. So a trade for women, it all depends on what you or whoever the woman is are able to do. Now, of course, I would say something like being involved in healthcare in some kind of way. I know girls that do, of course, nursing. Nursing, I'm going to always say nursing. That's something that might not necessarily be a trade, but nursing, that's always going to be a thing you could do. You can have that skill forever. Listen, you go to a doctor's office, you're going to see nurses in there that's young and old and everything in between. You could do it for a long time. It's not heavy on your body. So you could do that. Also, what else? Anything that involves making crafts. I know girls like at Etsy stores, they sell like homemade things. I didn't see girls all type of stuff. They make like little small sculptures of houses. I can't explain it, but they just do certain things that's creative. They can sell it on Etsy. They can sell it on their e-commerce store, stuff like that. But I know girls that do more hardcore type of trades. I know a girl that's a welder, a traveling welder, and she does very good. Now, granted, she kind of like a big, tall, white girl, muscle mommy, so that's not for everybody. That's not for everybody. But she does do good at welding. Although that's a typically male field. But what do y'all think as far as trades for women specifically? I'm going to always stand by nursing because it's never going to go away. There's always a need for it. There's always a shortage. That's always going to be a thing. Whether you could start as a CNA, you could go up. I mean, I know somebody that is, I ain't going to say too much, but I know someone who, a lot of girls have no degree or nothing and they're nurses right now. CNA, then you could get up to RN later. You could be a traveling nurse. You can work from home as a nurse. I know a girl that works from home on the Icon system because she knows how to do that. So she don't even got to go to the hospital. You could be at home working as a nurse. Okay. So how she look? You funny, CV. I would show you the girl that's a welder, but I ain't gonna show you that. Yeah, but she cool people, and I'll describe her. She kind of looks like China from WWE, RIP, but her face is prettier than China's, but she's kind of built like that. I'm talking like really jacked up. Yeah, like jacked up. A lot of y'all triceps and all of that, y'all don't got nothing on her. But nursing, that's the number one. Absolutely. Let me see. Yola Romero says, ABL, you're wrong. Nurse care is heavy on body. Ask any OBGYN, labor delivery nurse one. Nurses have to turn patients over, move them around, not as easy as you think. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's not hard on your body. Like, okay, you want to be a construction worker? That's hard on your body. You want to be a coal miner like my grandfather was, my great-grandfather? Okay, you want to be 4 miles under a mountain and have it collapse on you? Breathing in coal dust? You want to be a firefighter? You want to get on that? You want to be at the fire station sleep, and then when the alarm goes off, your heart goes from 0 to 100. A lot of guys is dead from heart attacks in their 50s. My dad was 61, dead from a heart attack. So what I'm saying is it's not hard on your body. Like you're not going to be, it's not an extreme thing, but you do have to work. It's not going to be as simple as sitting at a desk. You understand what I'm saying? But yeah, that's definitely, make clothes. Absolutely. Anything dealing with, needle and thread, the best tailors ever are women for me. Yo, like if I need my suit, whenever I get a suit, I need to get it altered. If that lady, black lady, Asian lady, white lady, a lady, like an older lady is always the best tailor, in my humble opinion. Always. Okay. But Starbucks coffee drinker, you guys are funny. Tracy says, I was a wildland firefighter and became a paramedic. I laugh when nurses say their job is hard. That's what I'm saying. Exactly, Tracy. Shout out to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's some hard jobs out there. there's some hard jobs out there. Nursing is not an easy job, but it's not as hard as some of the more physical. Landscaping, your back at the end of the day is on fire every day. Your back, your knees, your neck, your elbows, your shoulders, all of that. Dental hygiene, that's one. Dental hygienist, but that goes into healthcare. Anything dealing with healthcare, which is kind of a wide thing. Dental hygienist, a nurse in some kind of way, dealing with homeopathic, home herbal remedy. There's a big wide spectrum of healthcare, of things dealing with health. It's a wide spectrum. Okay, teaching, housekeeping. All right. That's enough. But shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all for joining. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Okay. One last one. Then I'm going to get to the calls. The number to call, 706-406-3287. Again, 706-406-3287. I'm going to get to one more. Then we're going to get to the calls. So look, Candace Owens. How do you guys feel about Candace? Do you like her new direction? Do you not like her new direction? Because there has been this shift. She's not so much, make America great again, politics. She talks more now about culture. It's more about culture than anything else now. But what do you guys think about what she's been saying? Do you agree with her? Do you not agree with her? Let's watch this about Trump and some of the protests and things of that nature. Check it out.
I never thought that I would see a day where I would be rooting for a university above Donald J. Trump and his administration. But I don't recognize his administration right now. I don't recognize what's happening. I have a theory. I do. We were kicking around some theories earlier, me and the team, and we were going, how could Trump be such a free speech enthusiast and allowing these things to happen? Going after college universities, trying to suppress speech, while pretending that you're not suppressing speech, while pretending that you're fighting DEI. It's so messy. It's so obvious. Everyone knows what you're doing. People who are still trying to grift, I suppose, are not willing to challenge you on this, which is ridiculous, because when you are out of office, we are going to have to live with these consequences. Our children are going to have to grow up in this America. Okay. So when you threaten our speech, it's not worth it so that we can have pom-poms and go hurrah for a couple of years, then go, okay, well, yeah, now it kind of stinks because, we're getting arrested for wrongthink. We got David Friedman. Yeah, arrest him. Arrest Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens. Get them. I love it. And if you think it's going to stop with college campuses, you're out of your mind. So you better buck up and root for Harvard University in this fight.
Okay.
I never thought that.
So there we go. So look, here's context right here, right? Here's context right here. New York Times says Trump administration will freeze $2 billion after Harvard refuses demands. Federal officials said they will freeze the money after Harvard said it would not submit to requests to overhaul hiring and report international students who break rules. Now, the underlying theme behind all this is that a lot of the protests on college campuses have become violent. And what underlines it all is the Israel versus Palestine conflict. So there's a lot of anti-Semitism. A lot of Jewish students are being harassed. It's a mess. Now, many people say that the reason why Trump is going after Harvard and whatnot is because of the Jews. Oh, well, he's just trying to protect them. And who's the real president? Is it Trump or Benjamin Netanyahu? All this, that, and the third. And like I said in my video, blaming the Jews is like blaming the white man. It's an advanced version of blaming the white man. If you want to be specific, if you want to get down to the meat and potatoes, rather than just blanketly blaming white people, Europeans, let's blame the Jews, because these are also white people. These are Europeans. Kiev, Ukraine, Moscow, Poland. Benjamin Netanyahu's dad is from Poland. His mom came from British Mandate Palestine, but where was she at before then? Probably Kiev, Ukraine. The same, a Slav just like his dad. And he grew up in United States, Philadelphia. So you have a white American. So we're just like, you got to frame it like that. And here's something else, though. People say that they're not white. Do you think the majority of those on college campuses who are, criticizing them and all this and that, do you think they think they're white or something else? Be serious. These are Europeans. That's what it is. It's just an advanced version of blaming the white man. I don't believe in blaming the white man. I think blaming the white man is a joke. That's why I always say it. Hey, I'm late. Blame the white man. It's a joke to me. So I see blaming the Jews the same way, because black people, most people aside from whites, don't see ethnic groups of whites different than others. Just the same kind of way that if you're a black person, you're seen as black. If you're Barack Obama or you're an African, you're seen as the same thing, but you're not, obviously. Barack Obama is biracial and grew up in Indonesia. It's not the same thing as somebody that's a black African growing up in Africa. They couldn't be any more night and day different. But you got a European in Poland right next to a European in Germany, and somehow that's way different. We don't see it that way. We don't see it that way. So most people don't see it that way. So when you have the protest, it's just really going to be about, I hate white people, which has been the common theme throughout K through 12, Ivy League, etc. It's simple. Is it just me that thinks that way? I think that I'm not alone when I say that. And for me personally, hey, I like the Jews. They're good people. I know a few Jews, like some real deal Jays. I know some of them, and they're great people. They're great people. I know some white people. They're great people. I know some black people. But I also know some Jays that don't do the right thing. Your Sam Bankman-Fried, your Bernie Madoff clearly didn't do the right thing. I know some whites that didn't do the right thing. Your Joe Biden didn't do the right thing. Hillary Clinton deleting people allegedly. Ghislaine Maxwell, is she a J? Is she white? I don't know what's going on. The list goes on. I know some blacks that don't do the right thing, but I don't just say I don't like the J's, I don't like the whites, I don't like the blacks. I look at the individual people, but that's just me. That's just me. Yeah, Kanye, what's going on with Kanye is that he is open to so many ideas because there's no real boundary on what he can actually do. He just thinks about everything. And it's like, okay, at a certain point, it needs to be somebody that can kind of check it a little bit. But at the same time, if you check his stuff, you're going to ruin the creativity. That's that's a double-edged sword, I suppose. Shannon Sharp, same way. The same thing that makes Shannon Sharp good to be a podcaster and entertaining and worth millions of dollars is what makes him mess with these white girls and stuff like this. It's the same kind of drive, but you got to be able to figure out a way to contain yourself to keep your high level of energy and productivity, but don't crash out and do weird things like wearing Hitler chains and stuff like that. Like, why would you do that? It's weird. But anyway, if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Yeah, Kanye just need to get his mind right. He got to get back on focus, back on the right on the right train. That's all. Alrighty, we got calls, but first we got super chats. Let me get to those right quick. Thank you to Apple Blocker All Puff Daddy, who says, please pray for Canada. Big vote on Monday. Also, Apple says, ABL, how was your Easter? Big dinner. Easter was cool. I didn't really do too much. Shout out to Easter. I've not done the whole Easter, like, church repast thing in a long time, but shout out to everybody that did. Thank you to Rose Readings, who says, FY, we have the largest Ethiopian population in Israel. Well, hey, shout out to them. Hopefully they are treated very well. Apple says, Deion Sanders' son drafted in later round. Thoughts? Well, I think I was saying that earlier. Shadur is a middling talent. He's not quite good enough to have his talent overtake any kind of distraction that he might be by being Deion Sanders' son. Because you know, as Deion's son, Deion's going to want to have a lot of influence on what the NFL does. And the NFL may not really want that for someone who's not that good. If they're able to get Deion again, cool. But if they get Cordell Stewart, it's like, I mean, we'll take him, but he's not worth all that. Anyway, thank you to Apple again, who says, is Community fed up with Democrat support over illegals? I don't know if they're fed up with the Democrats, but I think they don't like how the illegal aliens get whatever they want. They don't like that. Whenever I'm in panels and stuff like this, whenever I'm talking to anybody in the street that run up on me, they don't like the whole thing with the illegals. Nobody likes that at all. Thank you to Kai's Posthumous, who says, you hear about the teen shot at California McDonald's? Hey, what's new? I've not heard about that, though. Shout out to you. That about Richlow says Lexus 300 with Lexus 300 with Virginia plates gave me a wild 90s flashback. I can't stop laughing. Yes, listen. If you get caught, hold on. If you get caught with one of these, hold on. I'm gonna find it. Like a 1998. Hold on. Matter of fact, there it is. There it is right there. Or this one might be a better. Yeah, this is a good view of one. Okay, so look. Something like that. Okay, if you're riding around in this right here, and you got 4 adults in the car with you, and you're in Virginia, let's say you on Lynn Haven Parkway in Virginia Beach with 4 adult black males in it, the light will come on. The light going to be bright as the day. Because I've been here. I've been in the car just like that, and they do that. The light going to be bright. They go put the whole light on so they can see inside the car. I don't know where the light they had came from. They had a big spotlight they put on the car. Flashlight, licenses. If they smell weed, if they smell weed in the car, everybody getting locked up. Then they're going to search it. And they're going to find something. Oh, here go a gun. Whose gun is this? And nobody going to say nothing. Okay, everybody got to go down the cut. And you right there because you could just go straight down Lynn Haven and hit Virginia Beach Boulevard. And you pretty much right there. Bro. So you going to tell me that you could be in the car with 8 illegal aliens and you don't get locked up? Please stop. Please stop. 2-tone Lexus, New York plates, Lynn Haven Parkway, Green Run. You're getting locked up. Anyway, thank you to Ron Henderson who says, blue hair nuts can't sing Democrats for sure. Lord help us. Pay for your own loan, not me. Exactly. Thank you to California Dreamer who says, yes, they will garnish Social Security check. Yes, been there, done that. Student loan paid in full. Felt the burn and it was under Obama. Exactly. So the whole thing about garnishing wages, that ain't nothing new. They've been doing that. If you don't want to pay your debt, then don't take the debt out. Don't take it out. Thank you to Kiwan Lynette who says the issue is the short notice to resume repayments. Well, the thing is, they didn't say they're going to put you in collections right away. Hold on. They said that the payments are going to, you're going to start having to owe it. Hold on. Let me see now. I'm going to try to get this. Okay, FSA will restart the Treasury Offset Program administered by the U.S. Department of Treasury on Monday, May 5th, 2025. Let's put it on the screen right quick. I'm going to just read some of this, and then we'll keep on moving. All right, hold on. All right, let's put it up right here. Well, that ain't going to really work. I'm going to just read it. All right, it says, all borrowers in default will receive email communications from the FSA over the next 2 weeks, making them aware of these developments and urging them to contact the default resolution group to make a monthly payment, enroll in an income-driven repayment plan, or sign up for loan rehabilitation. Later this summer, FSA will send required notices beginning administrative wage garnishment. So that's later in the summer. It's not, they're going to start garnishing you right now, but you got to contact them to make up a payment plan to figure out something. If you hit them up and let them know what you got going on, they can work with you. But if you refuse to do that, they put you in collection, then they're going to start garnishing later in the summer. So communicate with them and figure something out rather than ignoring it. All right. Let's keep rocking here. And thank you to Ryan Henderson who says, what part of illegal don't these Democrats understand? They all have to go. Right on. Thank you to No Excuse Lifestyle Rocky Cage who says, what's good, ABL? I'm glad we've learned that 18 years old, unless it's for a field that's going to give me a return on my investment, there's no point in going to college just to collect student debt. Salute, brother. Exactly. Shout out to you, man. I knew that when I was 15, 16, because we were talking about it. My friends were talking about this very thing. So I'm having a hard time understanding why these grown people don't know no better. I knew that as a child. Not as a child. I was a young adult. In high school, I knew that. Think of the Walmart Tavius who says Chuck Norris actually died 4 years ago, but the Grim Reaper didn't have the courage to tell him. Right on. Thank you to Kai's Proximus who says a 75th Ranger moved on to Ash Street and fought Crips. Thank you to No Excuse. Last time Rocky Cage who says, coming from a guy who spent 10 years vehicle living, I'd rather spend another 10 years living in my vehicle than living in a ghetto trashy area, hearing police sirens every night. Exactly. Salute again, brother. Right on. Right on. You don't want to live in one of these areas, man, where it's just bad people. Thank you to Polite Rude Guy who says, Hispanics for Trump 2028. I'm dead serious. San Antonio, Texas. Shout out to San Antonio. Thank you to Trumpinator who says, no dad around, mom, kid turns trans. Right on. Exactly. Thank you to Michael Critchlow who says, Zelensky is wearing a shacket. A shirt jacket. Exactly. Thank you to Ron Henderson who says, Big Mike looks tired. Looks like her teeth are trying to fall out. She needs some rest. And them dentures ain't denturing. Them dentures are not denturing. Yeah, just relax. And my thing is, what is she doing to get all, crazy looking like that? Thank you to Ryan again who says, due process is arrest, prosecute, and condemn. That's due process. No one's above the law, even judges. Thank you to the Whitesman for gifting 5 ABL memberships. Thank you to Keon Lynette who says, cosmetology, respiratory or x-ray tech, paralegal. That's another one. Yeah, women that do hair. Y'all may or may not know, but I used to manage a cosmetics website and a beauty supply store website. So I know all about your tinters and bronzers and moisturizers and all that kind of stuff, especially for Black women's hair care. I know about all that stuff. Afro Veda. What was another one I used to do all the time? Miss Jessie's. I know about all that. Yep. Yes, that's a big one. And they made a lot of money. Toward the end of me doing graphic design, I had a few clients still back in like 2017, 2018, and my best clients were women. One woman had a personal training business. Another one had a cosmetics line. Another one taught cosmetics. Another one had the beauty supply store. And I think there might have been one more woman that was a client of mine. Oh yeah, one more. She had like she was like a sales kind of person. I forget. I can't really describe what she did, but it was all Black women. It was all women. And they were doing stuff like that. All right. Thank you to Kiwan. Already read that one. Thank you to You're So Cool 23 who says, I did HVAC as a woman several years, mastered it. Now I repair auto welders, presses, etc. Your shelves in Walmart and Target, etc. are what my company makes. Americab made in the Midwest. Well, hey, shout out to you. There we go. I love it. Yeah, women can do a lot of these trades because they're not like, oftentimes women are intimidated sometimes by these trades, and men are as well. People are as well. They don't think they could be an HVAC tech. They don't think they could do welding, but you could do it. You could do it. You really can. And I suggest, especially young people, to get into these trades because you're going to have a lot of job security. There's a shortage in these careers and they pay. And you can do these careers for a long time. You got old guys out here still welding. Guys in their 60s and 70s still welding. You could do that for a long time, make a lot of money, and you're not going to be out of work. Now, if you get a degree in business administration, underwater basket weaving, you're going to work at that Starbucks, you're going to work at McDonald's, and you're going to be mad because you cannot pay your student loans back. But it's like, what did you get a degree in? You don't have any skill. What can you do that a robot can't do? What can you do that a 15-year-old can't do? If you find yourself at 30 years old trying to find a job and you see a bunch of teenagers there, you made a mistake somewhere. Especially as a man, you made a mistake somewhere. Unless you're a nurse, which is something different because you have nurses that are young and old. But anyway, welder, $45 an hour to start. Absolutely. Absolutely. They make money. And again, I'm going to say it one more time, then I'm going to get to the calls. The thing about having these skilled trades is that you can use them in your regular everyday life. Rather than calling this guy, calling that guy, you could do it yourself. That's going to save you money. and you be able to teach your kids that. So then when you get to be older, your kids can come by and fix certain things in your house. That's kind of how it's supposed to be. Okay? So yeah, let's keep rocking and rolling here. Again, the number to call is almost said the wrong thing, 706-406-3287. Again, 706-406-3287. And the phone lines are open now. If you can't get in, don't blame me, blame the white man, because it ain't my fault. But let's get to it. 706-406-3287. Okay, hold on. GD Vibe says, I got my welding certificate in 9 months. Well, there you go. You know, it'll take 4 years and a bunch of prerequisites. 9 months. 860, you're on line. Who am I speaking to?
Anthony, how you doing? It's Anthony Ranger Xbox. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well, man. How about yourself?
Oh, pretty good. I just got a quick question for you. Since you have all this experience in ladies' cosmetics and beauty products and all that stuff, one quick question, spot on this exact subject.
Okay.
Does Miss Crockett get her hand-me-down wigs from Maxine Waters? And I'll leave you with that, brother. You have a good night. Great show. Take care. God bless. Bye.
Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. You know what? Them wigs, though, I could tell that ain't no friends that's really looking out for her, because them wigs are terrible. Like, the girls I know, they would never. I want to speak it to 331 you're online.
Brother, good night. Great show. Take care.
1 second, ABL. Sorry. Alrighty. Had to mute the TV here. Hey, ABL, this is Les.
All righty. What's going on?
How are you doing tonight?
Doing well. Can't complain about yourself.
Good, good. How's the weather out there?
Oh, it's good. It was raining for a lot, but now it's like a good 75, 80 in the daytime, so it's good.
Oh my God, we're still having bipolar weather over here. So I think it was 2 days ago, we were around the 80-degree mark, and then today it just dropped. I believe it was 68 today, and it's just gonna continue dropping for a little bit and then pick back up. I'm like, oh, I'm so tired of this weather. I just wanted to go ahead and comment on just two things on the whole Candace Owens thing.
Oh yeah.
So I love Candace Owens. That's my girl. Okay. But there's a couple of things that I just don't agree with her. I just like how she dives in, into a lot of different topics, and a lot of the books that she recommends, I have read so far. So like Operation Paperclip, Chaos, and there's some other ones that she recommended, which is like Hollywood Babylon and all this stuff. So it's really nice because she goes ahead and she recommends certain material for everyone to read and just kind of get a gist of history. So I like that, to be honest with you, ABL. However, when she gets into the whole topic of Kanye West, I don't agree with her. I cannot I respect Kanye West as an artist, okay? I loved his music when he started back in the day, okay? Back in the good old days. But now I don't know why he seems a little off. And then just when he married Kim Kardashian, and then now when he married his current wife, the way he just displays her, I think it's just low for a man. But then yet again, I can kind of see the other side of things, is that they have that status, you get me? So when you have that celebrity status, I mean, not that you can get away with much, but there's plenty of things that could get swept under the rug. With this whole thing on the whole Harvard situation, I look at it both ways, ABL. I kind of understand where she's coming from, and I completely understand where you're coming from. However, Harvard University is a private institution. It's a private school. I don't understand why they're extending their hands to for federal funding, because we've been giving them millions of dollars. Okay, school's already expensive as it is with that tuition to attend that university. So in that case, it's kind of this is why I say why I agree with you, ABL. Okay, because we can't be we cannot be hypocrites here, okay? So remember with the whole EBT thing, right? Where we were saying if you're going to be on, you're asking for government assistance, you're asking for handouts, you're extending your hand for us tax-paying dollars to put groceries on your food. I think we do have a right to say what you can and cannot purchase. If you are extending your hand out like a Harvard University for federal funding, contracts, whatever the heck it is, government does have a right to tell you what you can and cannot do.
Exactly. That's my whole thing. Like I said, like you said,
Mm-hmm.
we can't be hypocrites. We said the same thing for the whole welfare, so it's got to be the same thing across the board.
It's got to be fair. Yeah. Federal funding is federal funding, period. If you don't want the government to tell you what to do, like I said, Harvard is already expensive as it is. They make money. Then don't reach out your hands to get that money. Go completely private the way you all claim your private institution. And there you go. You're all good money. Like you don't have to, worry about the government breathing down your back, right?
That's right.
And then I just wanted to make a quick another comment about what was it? The everything that's still going on with this whole the legal situation and stuff like that. Look, if you came here to this country and you crossed illegally, you didn't follow our laws, you need to go back. I understand how the Trump administration was first saying that they wanted to prioritize the illegals that have been committing crimes. That's perfectly fine. However, like the more serious crimes, right? Like murder and all that other stuff. Okay, yeah, I understand. But at the end of the day, we voted for President Trump to do one thing and one thing only that he ran as well in his campaign, is to go ahead and get rid of all these illegals. The atrocity that the Biden administration has caused, and we're talking about how many millions of illegals that they allowed to illegally cross our borders. And then not just that, they were here, right? They were living off of our tax-paying dollars and committing crimes. Have we forgotten all the American women that have died?
Exactly.
The Lincoln Riley. How many other women? The little girl, what was her name? Jocelyn. I keep forgetting her last name. ABL, the 13-year-old little girl.
I'm not sure.
But I know her first name is Jocelyn, and I know that her mom was, President Trump always invites her to certain certain ceremonies and things like that. So she's been making appearances. So for people to continue on with this narrative of due process, again, you're here illegally. You're not an American citizen. You are not protected under our U.S. Constitution. You are not, and you should not be entitled to any type of due process. You came here illegally. Again, you broke our rules. You broke our laws. You gotta go. Mexico does the same thing. And I know I've said this on your show some time ago, ABL. Mexico does the same thing to people from Guatemala. If they cross over, they got a border down there. They cross over, guess what? You're getting deported. You're going back. They're like their border patrol out there is on top of things. They're on point. Okay, you're gonna get deported. So if other countries have the right to their borders, why can't we? Why are we somehow the excluded ones from keeping our country safe? No, that's total BS. And I think that's the biggest atrocity, is the simple fact of what the Biden administration has been doing, what the Democrats are doing now with this whole narrative of, oh, let's bring back this illegal criminal immigrant, because he's owed due process. No. He's right where he's at. Leave him in El Salvador. And I cannot wait for all these other millions of illegals to get deported. All right. So that's all I wanted to say. I got heated from Wednesday, ABL, okay? So I just wanted to wish you a good night. The little Patriots are right now with their tia, with their aunt. So they're with family right now. But I'm sure they wish you a good night. Have a wonderful night. Be a good weekend. God bless. God bless the chat. And till next time.
Thanks for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Bye-bye.
All right. Shout out to Les. Great call. Fantastic call. And shout out to you guys again for watching. The number to call 706-406-3287. Again, 706-406-3287. The number is always in the description box. Also in the ticker at a certain point, it'll scroll right along. Let's keep on rocking. You're on loudspeaker to 310.
Hey, ABL, this is Ron from Georgia. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Doing all right. Man, I tell you, we had a powerful week, and I just want to say shout out to that last caller. She was hitting on a lot of points that I was thinking about today in regards to, getting control of our country. It's ridiculous that we have government workers. I'm talking about the people, the Senate and congressmen running to aid and abet the illegals, criminals, and yet not taking care of the people at home. It's crazy that even the judges would go ahead and try to usurp the law that they're supposed to uphold. It's ridiculous. And I think that the FBI, Cash Patel and Bondi, what they're doing is addressing the judges that are doing these here things is a positive thing. This is what they need to do. And they need to be made an example because, like I said, that they're not above the law. They're supposed to support the law. They're supposed to support the country. And why they find that the Border Patrols and the ICE agents, that they consider them a villain? No, the villain was in their care right there. The villain was being adjudicated right there, and yet the ones that was accosted was there, and yet they didn't get their hearing in court. No, it's ridiculous. Mexico, yeah, that's exactly right. They don't play that. As far as like you cross the border, they send you right back. It should be the same thing here. You do not have the same rights as a legal American. You don't have that because you're not an American. You didn't come and ask our permission to come to our country. And it's ridiculous that Joe Biden let all these millions of people and they didn't ask our permission. They didn't even come and knock on the door. They just came and bum rushed the door, come into our country, get on our food stamps and whatever else gimmicks that we give them. We fly them to New York, L.A., wherever. It's ridiculous that we're doing all these here things for these people, and yet our own people can't get a dime. Can't get a dime. Our own soldiers who fought, died, and are willing to give of their life, and yet they don't get the same type of love as the illegals and these criminals get. And yet these House representatives and senators would go ahead and think that this is a good thing that they're supporting. No, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And these people need to be dealt with too. To a point to where the senators would go ahead and talk about make that Florida lady, the cowboy lady, with the pink on and everything ridiculous, talking about go ahead and riot almost, I mean, go ahead and bombard the giving out all the numbers to other representatives. These people are doing anything they can to just stir up trouble and to keep this here thing going. No, I say heck no to that. We need to continue to push forward the agenda that Trump is trying to do. It's a good agenda for our country. We are suffering under the Democrat mindset that they're trying to push on to us. No, we're not going to buy that. And like I said, 60% of the Americans today is support of what's going on. And the judges that's harboring these people in their houses and let them go out to the trap door, out the courtroom and everything like that, these people need to be, like you said, big rocks, little rocks. That's what they need to be dealt with. It need to be an example made of these people that know you're not above the law. No, if you call yourself to being a judge, you're supposed to be impartial, despite what your political mindset might truly be. No, we're not going to put up with this stuff. And I thank God that, that the administration is doing what they're doing. And like I said, they need to follow it through all the way through. You know, like I said, these people need to be made an example of. All these people who are doing wrong to our country need to be made an example of. And as far as like even the University of Harvard, look, if you could do whatever you want, Harvard, you know, you got a $53 billion war chest in there. Spend your own money, leave my money out of it, call back to our government money. Let's use our government money for these state 2-year colleges for, you know, little people. Let's improve that and not support these big dollar colleges. When they start drawing up the money, the price of college will go down, and then maybe somebody might be able to really get afford to do that and get rid of all these here basket weaving classes and stuff like that they're trying to support. It's ridiculous. It need to be, if our government money is going to be supporting something in college, it need to be something that's going to be you able to make some money with, not just here vanity stuff, virtue signaling stuff that they're trying to push on people, thinking that this is going to make America great. No, it's not. It's making America ridiculous, the stuff that they're talking about. But anyway, but I just had to just vent a little bit to get my blood pressure down a little bit. I feel good right now. Hey, God bless you, my brother. You know, you keep doing what you do, man. You do it the best. I love you guys. God bless you, my brother, and you just have a wonderful rest of the evening, okay?
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, man, brother. Take care.
All right. Great calls tonight. Shout out to y'all. You guys are fantastic. 904, you're the line. I'm speaking to.
Hey, ABL. This is Nikki from Florida.
All righty. What's happening?
Hey, I'll make this fast because I know everybody's waiting on Ivan to call. So there is a thing called every human has this candy stripe pattern on the outside of their body. It's called Blaschko lines. So when you say candy stripe, man, it's true. Everybody has it. It's possible.
Well, there you go.
But I wanted to ask you, do you like them phone calls that you get from Ivan where it kind of heats up a little bit? Because I think chat goes crazy every time he calls in. So I wanted to know.
Well, I like to be able to have different opinions. So whoever it is, whether it's him or anybody else.
Yeah, no, it's always fun to hear hear those calls coming, man. So I'll let you go, and maybe we'll hear from him.
Well, that could be the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Let's go to 850. You don't know how much speaker to.
Hey, this is Jim. Hi, ABL.
All righty. What's happening?
Well, you know, you got a lot of things going on here, and I wanted to start off with remember the young lady who didn't understand why you need a father?
Yes.
Well, there's a balance when there's a man and a woman involved. That's why God planned it that way, because women think differently and see differently, and men do the same thing. We're, hunters and gatherers. We can see predators where a woman wouldn't see it. And I remember telling my daughter, it's like fishing. You got to use the right lure to catch the right fish. It's the same thing with men. What are you going to attract? It depends how you dress. And a mom might think, oh, I want her to dress like that because I've heard mothers say that because I want her to be popular. And as a man, you know that men can be predators. And I'm not saying every man is, but they are out there. So that's why God put a man and a woman together. Secondly, as far as any illegal alien, I don't agree with anybody coming into this country illegally. I mean, I've been to different countries. If I tried to do what they've been doing, I'd be in jail still. Or worse.
Or worse, exactly.
And I have Christian values. I follow the Bible. My wife and I are ministers. We really follow the word. As my kids would tell you, my parents are the only ones that we know that are true Christians, because they see us 24/7. And our son is 40 and our daughter's 37, and they still call us for prayer. So if that gives you a heads up where my wife and I are at. I'm not saying we're perfect. We are definitely not perfect. But yet we're trying, and we have mercy on people. My whole point about illegal aliens doing horrendous crimes, murder or whatever, you know, I hate to see anybody put to death, but there has to be consequences to actions. My son and daughter knew if they did something wrong, there was going to be consequences. And I remember telling my son when he was younger, you know, you're going to jail, don't call me. You're going to stay there for a while. Because you're going to have to think about what you did, how you got there. And if you want to do it again, that's where you're going to end up. Because I'll help you to a point, but then there's sometimes you got to help yourself. And when somebody's doing something illegal, and like I said, it's horrific. I can't imagine losing my daughter to somebody who came into this country illegally. I can't imagine the horror of that. And also, as far as protecting yourself, I remember we lived in New Jersey, and we don't live there anymore. We live in Florida. But I remember I wanted to get my son when he was about 13 a BB gun, because I grew up with a BB gun when I was like 7. I mean, come on. And so I had to fill out an application. And when I filled out the application, I asked the police, I said, how long does it take to get a real gun? And they said, well, about 6 months, the same amount of time to get a BB gun. And I said, well, then I'm going to get a real gun. So I got a handgun and took my son to Hackensack, because we lived in Jersey, and took him to the shooting range up there. And, you know, you want him to learn this is real stuff. This is not shoot 'em up, bang, bang. This is real stuff. And I remember one of my wife's sisters said, you would actually shoot somebody who tried to come into your house? And my wife said, if somebody came into my house and they're going to rape me or my daughter or kill me or torture me or whatever, you better believe I'm going to shoot them. And it's like, the world has gone crazy. It's like, you have mercy in the wrong areas. And you need to be taught that there are consequences to actions. And this is what the problem is in too many homes, that there's no consequence. And we as Christians need to be a step up and say, hey, this is what I've done. This is what I would do. That doesn't mean I'm perfect, but I got to tell you, you're leading your children in a right path or a wrong path. And if you don't know everything, get somebody else to help you. And that's what's good about a church situation. Hopefully there's people there that can help you out. And as far as Candace Owens, I've listened to Candace Owens. I kind of like a lot of things she says, but like I said, none of us are perfect. I can't agree with her 100%. I can't agree with Donald Trump 100%. And I can't even agree with Joe Biden 5%. I mean, it was just crazy land when he was in office. Other than that, I like what you're doing. I appreciate you. And I think I've ranted enough.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. 215, hit on line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL. How's it going?
It's good, man. What's happening?
Hey, so basically, I'm going to say this real quick. I remember 4 years ago, it seemed like a lot of people that voted for Joe Biden were not only manipulated, but they were like people who just like living off the system that didn't want to work. Because I've noticed that a lot of people that really didn't like Trump and they were just like going hard for Joe Biden and trying to be in denial about everything about Joe Biden. A lot of those people, not only they were manipulated by the media, but they were like the type of people that just didn't want to work. They want to continue to live off the system, keep getting the food stamps, Section 8. Because I've noticed that with a lot of the Biden supporters in my community.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of that going on, and they don't understand that is not a thing that's really doable, not for long. And the people that you are wanting to do that for you, the taxpayers, people that actually work, we're not going to want to continue to do that. So they think, oh, you guys are just being racist. Nah, it's not about a race thing, because it don't matter what color you are, black, white, Puerto Rican, and Candy stripe. Nobody wants to be in that position of having to fend for other grown adults that don't want to do anything for themselves.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Because it's like when they can just get out and get a job and go work, they just choose to be lazy and have a bunch of kids.
It just really
to live off the system.
Yeah, really entitled, and that entitlement is getting old. It's really not getting old. It is old, and people are done. Americans are done with the entitlement mentality that other Americans tend to have.
Yes. Yeah, I've noticed that them kind of people, they tend to come off as real entitled out here, especially in like the hood communities. I was like, the audacity of the hood to be entitled. Whoa, hold up. Well, the math ain't mathing right now.
Right.
Yeah. Another thing is, I've been seeing multiple different stories about the Ukrainian talks, and now they're saying America says they're pretty much about damn near done at this point. I thought they were done last time, but
I mean, I don't believe nothing until nothing happened.
Yeah.
So until we actually until it's actually finished, I don't believe anything that I hear.
yeah, that's pretty much, yeah. I kind of do the same thing. I remember hearing it, and then I'm just like, what happened? I was like, you know what? Let's see what happens. That's all I do. That's like with them trying to say, like that time, what was they saying? Oh, Trump said he's going to cut everybody's Social Security off. You know what's funny? They say he was going to cut everybody's Social Security off. They've been saying that crap for years now. And Social Security under Trump and Biden, it seemed like it never changed at all.
It's not going
Like
to change.
last time Trump.
Yeah, it's not going to change. Like, that's just a scare tactic they use to put people out there and make them vote a different way. But yeah, it's just scare tactics. That ain't nothing going to change.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like. 'Cause I tell people, well, if nothing happened did anything happen last time he was in office? No. Oh, well, then why would it happen this time?
Right.
Yeah, and last but not least, I like what they're doing with Doge, because I kind of looked into it a little bit, like wasteful government spending. I like what they're looking into, and I saw the Act Blue. I think they're now getting investigated by the FBI.
Well, there you go. Sounds good to me.
All right. Well, thanks for taking my call, ABL.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
You have a good night.
Same to you, boss. All right, let's do your line speaker to 757.
Yeah, Mr. Logan, how you doing? Chesapeake Bob.
All righty, man. What's going on?
Hey, listen, I've had you on mute for a little while, so you may have already covered this. Talking about funding from the government going to these large colleges.
Right.
Real quick, let me break it down. Colleges have basically three streams of funding. One is for tuition, okay, and that goes towards the academia side. The other part is through endowments, okay, that's people who have graduated and, they give a certain amount of money every year to the college. That goes towards maintenance of the facility itself. And the third, not all colleges have it, but the big ones do. They have research labs, cancer research, Alzheimer's research. They have these big labs. Now, some of the endowment money goes to those labs, and that's where the government money goes. So the people that think the government is giving money, to support tuition for, people going to college, that's not really correct. It's going to these labs. And I saw that question come out a lot, and I just wanted to call and just let you know.
All right. Well, it's good to know.
All right, sir. Well, you take care.
All right. Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you. All right. Shout out to my man for the call. Let's go to 203. You're online. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, good evening, ABL. This is Pretty Liddy. How you doing?
I'm doing well. About yourself?
I'm fine. Thank you for asking.
Right on. So what's happening? What's going on with you?
Sure. I just wanted to ask a question. So I see the topics that you're speaking on. I agree with a few things that you were saying. And then I just wanted to ask you, like let's say in regards to Candace Owens, I guess people would translate it as like she's coming against Trump and she's defending Harvard. So let me ask you this question. When it comes to the rallies that are taking place, not only in Harvard, but like in these different like campuses, what's the difference between these pro-Palestine rallies that are taking place versus BLM rallies?
To me, it's the same. It's the same thing.
So didn't Candace Owens, let's say back in 2020, didn't even she herself speak against, let's say, Maxine Waters, Kamala Harris, and actually stated that they were inciting violence by encouraging BLM rallies?
Well, yeah, of course she would say that back then. I mean, because that's exactly what was happening. And then she was like the same as us. We were saying the same thing back then. So absolutely.
I mean, even like me personally, I agreed with that, but I keep the same energy as what, like, I'll even go as far as to say that BLM, the people that were behind it, they should pay reparations to the private properties, the businesses, or like small businesses, they should pay them back, because it's unfortunate that they had to go through insurance claims and everything like that. But, when these people are like on college campuses doing what they're doing, just like the BLM rallies, it's vandalism at the end of the day. And wrong is wrong, no matter what group of people, that it's being done to. So even like when you ask the question, what do people think about Candace Owens? Like, I think that she's a liberal wolf in conservative sheep clothing, meaning she never stopped being a liberal. She always says, hey, I used to be a liberal, I changed to being a conservative, but she's still a liberal. Or I guess I finally, even though I used to defend her all the time myself, because initially I liked a lot of her content, I understand what people were saying when they said that she's a grifter, even though I didn't. I used to always say before in the past, oh, she's genuine, to what she's saying, but now I understand why people are saying she's a grifter. So I feel like whether in future reference or currently, she should be responsible for encouraging people to incite violence on these campuses. Just like how she said that Kamala Harris and Maxine Waters and all these people 4 years ago, 5 years ago, she's doing the same thing that they're doing. She's no different than them, and she plays with defamation of character a lot. And like I always say, I'm not trying to speak against freedom of speech, because, people will sit there and say things like, oh, freedom of speech, freedom of speech. Vandalism should never be justified by freedom of speech, just like defamation of character should never be justified by freedom of speech. You can't sit there and say that if somebody messes up somebody's property, whether it's a college campus, whether it's a small business, your mom and pop small business, or even a big business like Target or whatever back in 2020, or somebody stealing TVs and so on and so forth, you can't sit there and say that it's excused by freedom of speech, and she sits there and say that she's a Christian and everything like that. I don't know, maybe the New Testament folks, maybe they think like it's okay to lie on people, but it's not like defamation of character in the law. Like, you could sue somebody. Like, we're living in a world of technology and podcasts and everything like that. As you always hear people say, allegedly, allegedly, allegedly. Yeah, because you shouldn't lie on people. And Candace Owens, that's what she does. She lies on Israel. And then right now, she's trying to make it seem like the Trump administration is the bad guy. Nobody should be vandalizing, any student, not just Jewish students, but just any. I don't care if you're black, white. We're here in America, especially these students that are here on visa. Do what you have to do in school. Some people are in college for scholarship, or maybe their parents are paying, or maybe the student is working 2 or 3 jobs. Who knows? But you're going to school for a purpose, whatever that purpose may be. And nobody should be told, oh, you're this ethnicity or you're that race and you're not allowed to go to school, or you're not allowed to go to your class. So, again, she's inciting violence, and one way or another, Candace Owens is going to end up paying for that. She's not above anybody. She's not above the law. And like I said, maybe these New Testament folks don't agree, but it breaks, defamation of character breaks the 9th commandment. So not only should Old Testament folks follow that, not only should people who practice Judaism follow that, but the New Testament Christians should be following that as well. Because like I said, it breaks the 9th commandment. So there is no difference between the BLM rallies and these pro-Palestine rallies. Vandalism is vandalism.
Well, there it is. Said perfectly. I couldn't say that better myself. Thank you for your call. I definitely appreciate you.
You have a good one, ABL. Thanks for answering my call. Take care.
All right, same to you now. All right. So shout out to her. I got one more call, then I'm out. Actually, you know what? That's a great way to end it right there. So shout out to you guys. If you couldn't get on tonight, don't blame me. Blame the white man, because it ain't my fault. But I appreciate y'all for joining. If you like what you heard tonight, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That will help me out tremendously. All right. And of course, I'll be back live. I'll be back live on Wednesday, same bat time, same bat place, 8 p.m. Eastern time to right around right now, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm also on my social medias, my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all that good stuff. Find it on my website, easy to find. This is also an audio streaming podcast. It'll be available on your favorite audio streaming platforms, whether it be Google Play, Spotify, Apple, iTunes, etc. Link for that will be in the description, or just go to your favorite audio streaming platform and search ABL Live. I should pop right on up. But that will be a wrap for me, so I will see y'all again next time. But before I get to that, I got super chats on deck. And before I get to super chats, thank you to everybody that's been watching, retweeting, super chat, and I could not do the show without you. Thank you to everybody that's been, thank you to the mods for keeping the trolls in check. I appreciate y'all for that as well. I got one super here. I wrap it on up, put the bow on top. Afterward, thank you to Bot KMIT, who says, these big schools get government monies for the research labs like cancer research, not tuition. Well, hey, that's a good thing. But at the same time, let's make sure that we are abiding by the rules of the federal government if you're going to take federal monies, if that's what it is. And a lot of the funding that schools get, really, in my opinion, it goes to the local economy of the college town. Not just when you're talking about straight up monies that's given for research. I'm talking about the federal student loan program in general. That's what funds a lot of these areas. It's the college. But is that an ethical thing to do? I don't know, because some of these kids are getting degrees of underwater basketball even, and they can't pay it back. And when they're not able to pay this money back, the government's like, yo, we still need that. So we're going to go ahead and garnish it. That needs to be something that's taught to these young people before they go to college, what you're getting yourself into. This is going to be a very important thing. It's like buying a house. It's like buying a car. You should have some type of, education about what you're going to get into. People sign documents and don't even know what they're signing. People sign up for things and don't know what they're signing up for. Now, I knew to not sign paperwork without reading it. I knew that from the beginning. I knew how important student loans and stuff like that were. When I bought my house, I read my documentation. I sure did. And I was able to find some stuff. First of all, when they were building my house, I was in here every Sunday as they were building it. I was physically inside the house just to make sure that everything was right. Okay, how does the framing look? Are leaving stuff exposed? Do we have any rot, any signs of rot, any warped boards in my house? Is the wiring looking right? I know a little bit about building, a little teeny bit, a little bit more than the average person. So I was able to kind of look and see what was going on. Okay, that's the wrong fixture. Let's go ahead and replace that. Before they put the walls on, is everything good? You got to actually look and see what's going on. Same thing in paperwork. You have to look and see what's going on. Now, when I saw my paperwork for the house, they were trying to tax me twice for the city and the county. I'm like, don't do that. Technically, I don't live in the city. I only live in the county. My address is whatever it is, but I don't live in the city. I live in the county. So they had to take that city tax off of there. So you got to be your own best advocate. Ain't nobody else going to do it for you. Don't nobody care. They take advantage of you. They'll steal money from you. They'll rob you barefaced with no pistol at 18 years old when you go to college. You got to be your own best advocate to prevent that from happening to you. Same thing with anything. When you're buying a car or a house, anything, make sure you know what you're doing. Make sure you've read through what you got to read through, because they will put things in there that are designed to trap you up. Or they'll put things in there you could easily discover if you read it. And they do that on purpose, in my opinion. Throw it in there. He ain't going to read it. So what? If he does read it, oops, we'll say, oops, sorry. But if he doesn't read it, we got him on the taxes. We got him on this. We got him on that. Don't do it to yourself. Yeah, he got an adjustable rate mortgage. That's going to be a killer in the year when he can't pay that double insurance rate. We're going to take that house from him. Please be your own best advocate. But that'll be a wrap for me. I will see you guys next time. And I'm always here throughout the week putting out pre-recorded content. Uncle ABL is still here. I put out a video about Shannon Sharp. Now, in my regular video on my normal channel, I was talking about legalities and I was kind of giving them a little bit of defense. But on my Uncle ABL video, I think I went a little bit more deeper into what he did that was wrong. Shannon Sharp was wrong here. I I don't think he did anything criminal, but he was wrong. The way he was moving, completely sloppy, irresponsible. You want to be making $100 million, bro, and you want to behave like that with these women. You thinking like you still playing football and stuff like this at college. You got your homeboy on FaceTime while you with the girl. You doing too much, bro. And doing too much, being sloppy, not handling things appropriately, got you jammed up. I've said it over and over again. Vince McMahon, same thing. Hey, girl at my job, I'm gonna give you $3 million, but he only gave her $1 million. All right, your whole empire come crumbling down because now I'm gonna say you did something to me. Shannon Sharp, same thing. You know what I think happened? I'm almost done. I'm preaching a little bit. Sorry, I gotta preach a little bit. You know how the preacher be like, all right, I'm about to let you go. I kind of feel like that right now. But look, you know what Shannon did? Had her on allowance and then decided to cut her off without giving her an exit fee. Sure did. She hitting him up on the text. I need $25,000 per cheat. That's her allowance. I need $25,000 per cheat. I need $25,000 for 2 more months to get me on my feet because I was used to your money you would give me every month. And you want to cut me off. Shannon bucked on her. Okay, you don't want to give me that $25,000 per cheek, 50 bands. Lawyer, Tony Busby, hey, you got one. Now I'm gonna need $50 million. $50 million. Go ahead, get it up. Yo, I got a video. I'm gonna put out. I'm gonna put out text, all of that. I'll give you 10. How about I'll give you 10? Nope, 50 million. Well, I ain't paying nothing. Now I'm gonna go to the press. Now, okay. I'm sorry to all my followers. This is a rough time for me. Man, nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that, man. Look, man, pay the girl her money. But anyway, you guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. But until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace.